Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 142 of LostinTranslationmon. I'm May.
And I'm Jay.
And this time we watched Meltdown in the Magma Zone.
Or Fierce General, Tactimon Close In.
And Dorulumon's True Colours.
Or Dorulumon, Run Like the Wind.
And the Rival Champions.
Or Taiki, Become a Knight.
For DigiNews, there was a bunch of things released, including the Tamers Blu-ray set, and I want to try and cover as much as possible about what was just released on the blog shortly. My favourite that just arrived is definitely the Dorulumon Digivolving Spirits.
It's very spindly.
Yeah, I would never actually make it transform, because I really like the Dorulumon stage.
It doesn't look really weird on the other side anyway.
No, these ones look fine.
I don't believe you.
This is probably...
Show me, right now.
Not right now, later. But this is probably the best Digivolving Spirits that they've released so far.
Well, they've only had 20 years to get it right.
Well, also, they're 4 times as expensive as the original. Like, the original ones were like $10. And they're very good quality, in my opinion, obviously.
I mean, they're pretty poor quality. It is Digimon, after all.
Fair.
If it depicted something else, something better.
For NewsLatelymon, we're not actually rebooting the podcast, by the way.
Unbelievable numbers of people, i.e. more than 0.
Well, we had one person say, why would you reboot the podcast just because you don't like Cross Wars? And for starters, like... On the actual show, we've never mentioned not liking Cross Wars. We've said that it's generic and it's not the best. Like, it's not Atmon or V-Tamer levels.
I've liked big elements of it, which the English actively tries to ruin.
Yeah, like, we like elements of Cross Wars, but we've never actually said that we dislike or hate it. I'm like, oh yeah, well, and this person said, oh, I know you guys hate Cross Wars. I'm like, when have we ever mentioned that?
My favourite part about that is it's not that I hate Cross Wars. It's both of us somehow. You now have a reputation for hating this too.
I've been rating Cross Wars, like, probably higher than I should.
Yeah, way higher.
Though you've been rating them pretty high for, like, what everyone thought you would hate Cross Wars.
I can't see why. There's just nothing going on.
Because everyone hates Cross Wars.
Honestly, I can't think of any show in Digimon that feels more like original adventure than this one. Because it's just they're in the digital world and they fight monsters.
Yeah.
There's, like, no story.
Except that you have an army.
Do they, though? Or do they just have a team?
It becomes more like an army.
There's a distinction between an army and a team.
Yeah. Well, they've got more friends now. They're adding more friends to their collection.
An army isn't friends, though. An army is employees.
Also, Agumon isn't confirmed for Smash, but that one was a little more obvious because it was Rickroll.
Yeah. Did anyone fall for that? Oh, no, there were some people who said, like, they were really excited about it.
Yeah, a lot of people clicked it. Like, we got a lot of views for that
Unbelievable.
That website.
I thought it'd be like, oh, well, you know, Agumon's such, huh? And then you have, like, a moment, and you go, oh, wait, no, of course. Of course that's nonsense.
We have the privilege of being from Australia. So when I've scheduled it for, like, midnight. So when it came out at midnight Australia time, it was still
March 30th.
It was 31st during the day.
Right, there is a March 31st. It's April 31st that isn't around. Which is why there was that fruit pie when I was in primary school that said it went off on April 31st. And I was like, well, this will never go off now.
Thanks for that important fact.
It's very important.
Anyway, so yeah, we're not rebooting the podcast, obviously. Why would we? Especially at like 3 episodes a fortnight, like it would be very slow to get back to where we are. And like there are some episodes like that we wouldn't want to watch again.
It's not even on a practicality, like, yeah, there's a practicality standpoint of, oh, it would take years to do. But it's not that.
Like, you wouldn't enjoy it.
We did it. It would be the dumbest idea in the world.
Like, and Jay would enjoy things a lot less because it wouldn't be the first time.
I'd quit the show immediately.
Yeah.
I can't believe anyone would think I'd even put up with it.
Yeah, like...
But it says a lot.
There are some episodes in Adventure I actually want to go back and watch. Like, I was just thinking, Jay, I would totally go back and watch the Pumpmon and Gutsumon or Shibuya type Digimon episode again.
That episode sucked.
I liked it, and I would rewatch it.
Huge plot holes.
Like, Flower Power I would watch again.
Yeah.
And the Pumpmon episode I would watch again, because that's a good episode. But, I don't know. There are a lot of episodes where I wouldn't want to rewatch again.
Yeah, like all of them.
I probably wouldn't want to watch Frontier so soon again.
But basically, if you thought we were for serious, we gotcha.
Yeah, like, we're not... like, it was literally the first episode. Like, we recorded a new intro and outro over Discord, and the main chunk of the episode was just re-edited first episode. Like, I edited the like, a lot of it, like, at the start and the end, just to make it, like, a little bit more genuine. And then, like, I put in some segment breaks that weren't there before.
What this tells me, though, is that we did that first show so long ago, people do not remember the things we said.
We had one person saying that they couldn't tell if we were just reiterating the same points as we had previously, or if it was literally just the first episode.
But again, like, they don't remember enough to be, like, clear. And second of all, that people don't listen to podcasts the way I listen to podcasts, which is that if I really like one, and I go from beginning to end, I start at the beginning again.
Well, the podcast is, like, what, 3 years old? Like, that was... like, if they've been with us from the start, that would have been 3 years ago that they heard that episode.
Yeah.
And the audio quality is so bad. Like,
That's fine.
Wow, we've come so far.
It's alright, we've played with that for our advantage.
I mean, it's sort of nostalgic listening to it, though, in a way.
Fair enough. It's one of the few episodes I've actually gone out of my way to listen to.
Also,
Not the April Fool's one, but the first one
You
we
weren't
did.
even that, like, aggressive towards Digimon, like, as much as I thought in
Because
my
it
mind.
hadn't gone that bad yet. It was just silly.
No, but we had a lot of people saying, oh, yeah, Jay's too aggressive. You should have found a better
but
co-host.
You know why that is, though? That's because at that time, no one was coming out and saying that Digimon is bad.
Yeah.
Because if you were talking about Digimon, it was out of a place of nostalgia. And I was the only person that was like, do you know maybe this isn't as good as you think it is?
Also, like,
And
now when you're reviewing an episode, you're reviewing it having seen all the other previous episodes of Digimon.
Yeah.
You're not seeing this episode for the first time. Like, you sort of know the mechanics, and you
I know
how
how Digimon works
You
now.
know how you know how good Digimon can be, and you know how bad Digimon can be. At that time, you were coming in completely blank.
Yeah, but like that's the idea that anyone would even criticize Digimon for being like not like, oh, it doesn't hold up necessarily to our nostalgia. It's like, no, this is not good. That didn't exist as far as I'm aware.
Like, yeah, Digimon Adventure is not nearly as good as people say it is.
But like you're aware of like pretty much all of the Digimon podcasts that were around at the time. There were like 3.
Yeah, well, there's more now, I think.
Nobody was out there saying this is bad or like this is or parts of this are bad.
They're being critical of it. Like, Prodigious is always very critical of it, which is good. But they all were Digimon fans.
Fair enough.
And you were not the Digimon fan. I think that was the different part that you actively, like, wasn't just not a fan. You were like, this is stupid.
At the beginning of every season, there is a dice roll, and you have to roll a 6 for me to get to the end of the season and say like, that was fine, or, that was good.
With Tamers, but you said, oh, that was fine.
Yeah, roll the 6.
Yeah. But, like, I think you said it's not as good as people say it is.
Clearly, it has huge problems.
But until Atmon, it was the best season of Digimon, and you can agree with that, right?
Well, until they ruined Try.
What do you mean?
They ruined Try.
I'm not talking
Episode
about...
5 ruined it, and it was the best season.
Excluding Try.
Well, you didn't say that.
Sorry, I meant, like, previously to, the rebirth of Digimon. Like, I'm talking about seasons 1 to,
But that rebirth happened while we were watching Tamers.
Yeah. The Try came out when we were watching... We just finished Adventure.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And so it was like the perfect time. We just finished Adventure. All right, but look at these kids again. Cool.
Also, another bit, we recorded Obnoxious Synopsis online, so it's slightly less quality than the rest of the show. So when Obnoxious Synopsis comes on and it's not so good quality because we're not recording in person using a mixer, apologies for that. But it's only going to be for that segment, so don't worry, it's not the rest of the show. And also, I was elected a moderator of the Digimon subreddit.
Democracy does work.
I was actually the top voted one. I was the only one that...
You got one vote with me.
So they did like this, we had like different rounds of voting, and like I was the only one who got all the, because you had to get a certain number of the percentage of the vote, and I was the first one to get to that number.
You got all the bonus stars.
Yeah, for the Mario.
So you just had, it was first past the post, that makes sense.
But it's, so yeah, I got that. I'm now the moderator of the Digimon subreddit, so that's pretty cool. And on to Obnoxious Synopsis. And again, sorry about the audio quality. It's not an April Fool's joke, it's just Obnoxious Synopsis.
We just recorded at the same time as the April Fool's joke.
Yeah, we actually did. We actually recorded at the same time. So it's the same quality as the intro and outro of the April Fool's episode. The first episode that we will be watching this week is called Meltdown in the Magma Zone, or Fierce Jane or Tactimon Close In. What do you think will happen in this episode?
I guess they beat up the Alola version of Golem, and it's probably not all that difficult. Then Tactimon shows up and is like, I do not like that you are chosen children, but we're not going to use that term, and give me the Digi-memories, and I don't know. There's not much here, to be quite honest with you.
Do you think anything will annoy you in this episode?
I think after they set up the Alola Golem from last episode, it's like a big deal. He's probably going to be a huge jump.
Right, so you think he's going to be beaten with just attacks? Like, very simple, like, oh, I beat you, I guess my attack was just bigger?
Kind of,
Okay.
yeah.
Do you think it'll be a good episode?
I don't remember this Magma Zone thing starting any good, but I guess we've got Cutemon's parents.
It had
and so
Prairiemon.
maybe it's that stuff will continue and it'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, you like Cutemon's parents and you like Prairiemon, so maybe it's not all bad. Can you predict a rating?
Like a 6.
Okay, so still not terrible. Like this,
Yeah.
we're still getting like better than Frontier level stuff,
Yes, that's correct.
which is good. That means you're enjoying it.
Frontier's garbage though, so it's not a high bar.
Filler or not filler?
It's one of those things, isn't it? This entire arc may as well be filler, but I guess Tactimon shows up and it's a thing, so it's not.
Right. The second episode that we're watching this week is called Dorulumon's True Colours, or Dorulumon Run Like the Wind, or The Wind, depending on how you say that.
I've never heard the word. I've only ever read it.
Run Like the Wind! What do you think will happen in this episode?
So there is a very subtle implication among these two titles that Dorulumon is actually a coward and runs away. The problem is that I don't think that's true. I think they're unrelated. And, like, his true colors are that he's actually loyal and nice, and that running like the wind is probably, like, the way he does his attack. So,
Right.
It's going to be... The only thing I can really tell you is the kids are going to be in danger, and Dorulumon, having earlier abandoned them, is going to show up and be like, you know what, no, okay, fine. It wasn't just because you bothered my sleep, it's because I actually care. Fine, you got me, Babaka.
So he's the Tsundere dog.
Yeah, Tsunderulumon.
Yeah.
Perfect. That one's pretty much gonna conclude, and he's gonna pretty much join the team.
Do you think anything will annoy you?
If we don't get a satisfying conclusion to what's up with Cutemon's parents.
Also, apparently Dorulumon's got the same voice as Kamina in the dub. And also
Awesome.
Bastemon. And I think also another character, A.R. Pulver told me today. And I was just like, wow! Because we were talking about how you like Cross Wars, and everyone is surprised. Or don't hate it, rather. Do you think anything will be good? Like, do you think it'll be a good episode?
Every second that Cutemon is on screen. Every second.
Well,
I love Cutemon.
There is a good line from the dub, and it doesn't spoil anything, but have you seen my parents? They're bigger and taller than me, and also there's two of them. It's like, I love you.
Have you seen his hat?
It's
Dad's hat?
Have
It's
you seen
really big.
He's got a little top hat for his ears. Oh, it's very cute though.
Oh.
What rating?
I think it might be a 7. It might be good.
Rate for Cutemon and Dorulumon being the best characters. Dorulumon's a good dog. Also, no dogs are ever evil, so filler or not filler,
But then no evil dogs.
there are no evil dogs in the world.
Okay, well, it's not going to be filler.
The third episode we're watching this week is called The Rival Champions, or Taiki Become a Knight. What do you think will happen in this episode?
I have no idea what Taiki Become a Knight bit is, but I feel like we're going to have a confrontation between Taiki and Yamato.
Kiriha.
Yamato.
You're really bad at naming the characters. Oh yeah, Yamato, Taichi, and Kari.
I remember Nene. I remember her.
Yeah, because Nene is quite interesting, really, hopefully.
It's a silly name.
Do you think anything will annoy you?
Look, I have so little information. I think what's going to annoy me is the titles.
Right. Wow. Do you think it'll be a good episode?
Yeah, I think that they could set up some cool stuff with the other kids, and I think that, like, they've been the most interesting part of this so far, pretty much. All of the bad guy Digimon are boring.
Well, the bad guys, and we mentioned this in our first episode of Cross Wars, it's very generic, and the bad guys are very they're generic bad guys. They literally just want to control their land.
Yeah, I just want to live here.
Have we seen what
Are the
Tactimon's
humans
design
colonists?
is? I don't know,
Sorry, what?
but have you seen Tactimon's design yet?
Maybe? I don't remember.
Because I like his design. His design's good at the very least. Like, he's a very
Isn't
well
he
designed.
the big dude in armor?
Yeah, he's just like a feudal knight sort of thing.
What a design. Wow.
Yeah, I know. I like it. I really like it.
Wow.
I like him. I don't know. There's Nightmon, and now we have like a different style of knight. It's good. Do you think it'll be a good episode?
I thought you already asked me this.
Yeah, I probably did. What rating?
7, sure.
So you're still pretty confident, even though you say like, oh, I don't think it'll be good. You're still pretty confident.
I said that this would be better because it's got the other kids in it.
Oh yeah. Filler or not filler?
No.
As for the writers, episodes 8 and 9 were written by Shoji Yonemura, who has written scripts for Pokemon, Lupin 3rd, lots of Kamen Rider, and episode 7 of Cross Wars. Does that change any predictions at all?
No.
Lupin 3's... I can't remember
no
if
idea
it was
what that
3rd,
is.
but it's quite good. I believe the movie was actually The Castle of Monte Cristo is the only one I've seen, and that's... I don't know if that would have been the same writer, but that's the only one I've seen, and that was quite good. Then we have the series composition person, Riku Sanjo, who has written episode 10, but has also written episodes 1 to 3 and lots of Kamen Rider. So episodes 1 to 3 were pretty good, I thought, from memory.
They were fine. I don't know, like, all the stuff that was set up that I really enjoyed, I'm like, it's been diluted since.
This is the main writer, basically.
I mean, I guess then
So-
that means they have an idea of what they want the characters to be doing. It's
Yes.
probably a good thing.
Yeah, so that usually when the main series writer is writing something, I usually will have quite high hopes for that episode. Even if it's not Digimon, anything like watching X-Files, Chris Carter. Ooh, this is gonna be a good episode. Because it's just, it's the person who probably cares the most about the show and wants it to be the best it can be. But hopefully...
And that's why no other writers take any pride in their work whatsoever.
No, it's just a day job. It's, I like these episodes. I've already watched them because I wanted to. I watched them straight away. I liked them. I like Digimon. Surprise on this Digimon podcast that at least one person likes Digimon. Do you have any other thoughts?
Somebody had to.
True. So no more thoughts?
I'm so angry that these titles tell you, like, so little. It's, like, really frustrating.
Yeah,
And because of the nature of the show, where they just bounce around, there's no, like, long, continuous stories, you're like, I guess it's impossible to guess.
Yeah, and also, you can definitely see that there's a split between the English titles and the Japanese titles now.
Sort of.
Yeah, like, compared to how they were basically more or less the same, it was Mikey goes to another world, or Taiki go to another world, it was...
Well, that was worse.
Yeah, but so that's it for Obnoxious Synopsis, and I guess onto the show. So obviously we'll be covering episodes 8 and 9 as one episode, because basically the mini arcs are all 3 episodes, and this is like part 2 and 3 of the Magma Zone mini arc.
We should really like do 2 episodes next fortnight so that like they all line up.
Oh no, they do, like some zones are like only 2 episodes.
Kill me.
And then like I know that the final 3 episodes are all like basically one episode pretty much, so that's the thing.
We could line it up so it's not we do 2 or 3 episodes a show. We could do a mini arc.
I already planned out the rest like until next February. All our episodes though.
Wouldn't a mini arc show just fit into that? I know it would always be slower. All right, fair enough.
Yeah, so we'll just keep on doing, and if we have to have cliffhangers, that's fine. We've had cliffhangers before with 2 episodes.
It's not a cliffhanger if you don't care what's going to happen.
Oh, I care.
Oh, they're going to get a code crown, go somewhere else, and then win and get a code crown.
At least it's self-aware. At least Dorulumon says, and I believe it's actually in episode 8. He says, oh no, maybe it might have been last episode, and he said, code crowns could just appear out of nowhere or just be hidden somewhere. And well, that's what happens. It appears out of nowhere.
Episode 9 and like.
No, episode 9 is when it appeared.
Oh right.
But I think it was... I have a feeling it might have been actually episode 7, when they were just all, like, looking around and wondering where the code crown was, and Dorulumon says, yeah, code crowns can just appear out of nowhere.
So if it was underground, does that mean no one ruled Lava Zone?
Unless he hid it there.
Who?
The Skullmeramon or Ancient Volcamon.
But if they had the code crowns, why were they looking for it?
Oh, they were looking for it. Yeah, no one owned it then.
Okay.
It's like how Island Zone had King Waimon, who had it, who was kind of the ruler.
Well, he obviously was. He was also the whole zone.
Yeah, to be fair, yeah, you're right.
He ruled himself.
So, when they start the episode, I'm really enjoying these puns in the dub. Like, now we're really in a hot seat.
Wow.
Thanks, Taiki.
Again, this is the most adventure season ever, isn't it?
Well, especially in the English dub when they keep on having to put in these puns. But, it's fine. So Ancient Volcamon is mad and attacking. Shoutmon catches a rock in his head and makes a dumb face. In the dub, Ancient Volcamon actually comments on the face that he makes. He says, get the picture, bug eyes. Also, I still don't understand why he's British.
Because he's a chav.
Yeah. Oh, I wouldn't say that's... No, he's not so much of a chav as like...
He's an old chav.
He's he's like a, like someone from Snatch or like...
He's not a pikey.
No, he looks a bit like the voice reminds me of like someone who's
he's
like...
just a British thug.
He's like an organised crime. Like I feel like it's more organised crime than thug.
Okay, fine.
Like it's more organised. It's more like mafia.
Your thugs are not... Mafia are full of thugs.
Yeah, but they're like... It's more organised than just thugs.
No,
Okay.
Mafia are full of thugs. That's their deal.
Okay, that's fair. But he's higher up than just a thug. He's not just a thug. He's like the brains of the operation.
Sure, okay. So Taiki spends this moment. It's like, hey, Bastemon, come over here. And I'm like, it's a bit of a weird moment to be having like a timeout. And then literally Shoutmon goes, what are you doing right now?
Yeah, and that's almost Atmon. It's just that Shoutmon kind of like says, why are you doing this now?
Yeah, but the whole show's not this self-aware. It only catches bits and pieces.
But anyway, just a bit before that, when Ancient Volcamon's making all the rocks fall, Zenjiro says it'll cave in, and Akari says the prisoners will die too. In the dub, she just says, think of what will happen to the poor prisoners.
It's funny though, because which prisoners are they talking about? They can't mean the ones in the underground jail because they don't know about them. And then is that going to hurt the people who are digging and stuff?
Well, we know because Cutemon mentioned that there were prisoners in there.
What, in the underground prison that they don't know where it is?
Yeah, but Cutemon says that there's the prisoners and the mum and dad were there.
But they don't know that the prison is underground.
Well, Cutemon does.
No, she doesn't.
Cutemon's a boy.
No, he doesn't.
We can call it I don't know. I love Cutemon.
Pink bunny.
We actually don't actually know if Cutemon's a boy or a girl. I don't think. Oh no, I think he's given male pronouns, but Digimon
Cutemon
don't know
sees
gender.
the digging people above ground and goes, okay.
No, but Bastemon tells them in the last episode, and that's why they went underground.
No, just all Bastemon says is there are prisoners being kept,
I know, but I still,
they have been kept prisoners.
I still think it can be argued.
Never
anyway.
was told where.
Anyway, I think it can be argued for the sake that he does know. Anyway,
But the reason they let themselves get captured, is to find where the prisoners were being held. They didn't know.
so Ancient Volcamon asks for the crossloader, and then Taiki gives him the fake one, and that's what he was talking to Bastemon about.
He 3D printed it.
And it's like a really obvious fake, and they're all saying no one will ever believe that. And Ancient Volcamon's like, oh, okay, fair enough.
It doesn't even
cool.
look like a crossloader. It looks like a 02 Digivice.
Yeah, it's because he hasn't seen it, and this is actually quite smart. And then
Bastemon.
no, Ancient Volcamon.
I know, but
Yeah.
Bastemon should have.
Yeah, Bastemon not that smart. I don't care. I love him. Anyway, so everyone's talking about how no one's ever going to believe it, and Shoutmon's like, "What are you doing, Mikey? How can you just give him the crossloader?"
This is very funny.
Yeah, because Shoutmon's not super smart.
Or smart at all.
Yeah, and so Ancient Volcamon overheats and he needs the Frigimon again. And he talks really nicely after he's got it done. He's like, oh yes, well I'm calm now.
I'm so mad that this goes nowhere. I thought they're putting such a huge emphasis on the Frigimon cooling him down. That implies that that's his weakness. And it's never relevant. This is the last time this ever happens.
Yeah.
Why did they introduce this mechanic?
Because he's still evil. And also I think it's a nice mechanic.
No, but it would have made sense for them to win the fight by going, oh, we know that you can cool him down and that changes his mood.
Yeah, but he's still evil.
No, it
he would
doesn't make him
still
not
send his
evil,
grunts against
but it would
him.
make him lose the fight.
Well, not necessarily.
What if you froze the fire guy whose all his attacks are fire-based?
I know, but I still think he'd be pretty angry if he's in a fight.
No, but that's...
Also, I'm pretty sure he could also melt the Frigimon if he wanted to.
Just don't even try that.
Also, I
That's
don't think
fine.
they have any ice Digimon.
Well, I mean, Garurumon kind of is.
Foxfire.
Yeah, well, cute as breath.
That's Metal Garurumon. Garurumon
Oh.
is a different Digimon because he's not a robot.
They're the same Digimon.
No, they evolve. Garurumon evolves into Metal Garurumon, but they're not the same.
Agumon definitely seemed like the wrong choice, though.
Yeah, and...
Sorry, Agumon.
Well, people tell him that it was the wrong choice. So Shoutmon's really mad at Taiki, and Taiki tells him that's fake. And Taiki said he just wanted to go to the prisoner cells. And then in the dub, we get Jeremy, the video game guy, back. Remember how we were mentioning how Jeremy hasn't made any references to being into video games?
I mean, yeah, I do remember that. And also, it's just great. It's a character moment.
That the dub puts in.
A character feature, that's what I'm trying to
Yeah.
say. That it'll go away, it'll come back. I don't
trait.
care.
You mean like a trait?
Not really.
Well, it's kind of like a trait. Dorulumon is impressed with Taiki that he thought so far ahead. Then when they're in the cell, the bars are electrified and reflect attacks. Shoutmon says that he looked really uncool, and Bastemon agrees.
No, they tried to warn him, but they didn't try very hard.
And then we have the best line in the dub that's ever been uttered in the whole of all of Digimon.
Can I?
Yeah.
Because I know exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Cutemon goes up to them and goes, have you seen my mommy and daddy? They're like, hold on, they're like me. Okay. They look
they're
like
like
me,
me.
but older, bigger, and there's two people.
Yeah. Except me, except bigger and taller and two people. And there's two of them, yeah, it's so cute.
That's adorable.
It's so cute. I love Cutemon. Well done naming a Digimon completely correctly, right? So we find out that Cutemon's parents were transferred to a different place. Dorulumon makes Cutemon feel better by saying that they're alive at least. Tactimon's watching over the zone, and then he's told that the children have been captured. And then Tactimon says to execute them because he can watch. Balmon says that if he needs any help with the execution to let him know because he's kind of like a bit of a mercenary.
My understanding was he goes, execute them immediately, I don't care. He doesn't even gonna watch it. He's like, well, we won, I guess.
Yeah,
Fine.
no, but he says he wants to watch.
No, that was only after he tells him Dorulumon's there.
Oh, yeah.
Then he's like, okay, don't execute them yet. I will be there personally. Which, this whole thing doesn't make sense because they're trying to make, and I'll go into more detail, but basically they want Dorulumon to be too heroic, so they can't actually make his story interesting.
I think it's fine.
We'll discuss it. But yeah, so that's a state of execution, even though you'd think he'd be like, well, kill the child and then don't kill Dorulumon. That'd be the normal way to do it, but obviously we can't have the kids die. So.
We find out that Tactimon wants to humiliate Dorulumon.
Yes.
And by doing this in front of, the men he saved.
But it's not.
It is. It's in front of the Meramon are there.
But were those the specific ones? No,
The
those
Blue
ones,
Meramon.
No, there was only one Blue Meramon.
No, there was a group of Blue Meramon on a whole, and then there was Boltmon.
What's Boltmon?
Boltmon is the one with an axe on his back. He looks like Frankenstein's monster. That's why it's called Boltmon.
There was a group of Blue Meramon there?
Yeah.
There was a group of Red Meramon there.
No, there's Blue Meramon as well.
There was only one. That's why he stood out, because he's special. There's only
I
one
thought there
of
were
him.
multiple Blue Meramon.
No, the firing squad squad.
I think we see a group of them though in that shot.
No, there's a group in the flashback.
Along with, I'm talking about the flashback.
I'm not talking about the flashback. I'm talking about at the execution.
I know that he has multiple Blue Meramon because I'm pretty sure that multiple showed up in episode 7.
Only
unless
one.
I'm wrong.
No, it's only one because that's why he stands
I'd
out.
like to point out that I watched these episodes 2 weeks ago.
I watched it today.
Yeah, so they're not 100% as fresh as they could be because I have to watch them as soon as possible.
And
else it
yet
gets
you
out of the way.
don't believe me.
Tactimon says that Balmon's just a mercenary soldier and he doesn't trust him. So I sort of like this sort of like bit we're getting about Balmon. Do you like Balmon?
I don't know anything about him, and I don't know what he wants. And he's like, but sometimes he gets stabbed in the back by mercenaries. I'm like, okay, why? Well, also, you pay mercenaries? They don't just show up and hang out.
Yeah.
Like,
I think
is
it's
someone paying him?
I think he's getting paid, but we never actually shown.
Like
He's
who?
just sort of,
Bagramon, who doesn't like him.
no one like. Well, we haven't seen Balgramon yet, have we?
We've seen his shadow. We've
Oh.
seen his feet. He's there.
We've also seen Blast Mode in Shadow.
Who?
Blastmon.
Who?
Blastmon.
I don't know who that is.
He's the one who calls Tactimon Tactchan.
I have no idea.
He's just the one in Shadow.
Maybe that's the one I'm talking
Looks
about.
like
Maybe we
rocks.
haven't seen Bagramon.
I don't remember. Then there's a scene in the prison cells, and they're talking about how that they should, rise up. And Dorulumon asks, "Are you Digimon or Digimice?"
Oh my god, it's so
That's just such an
awful.
easy pun. Taiki is telling the prisoners that he's going to save them, and this whole time I'm just saying Dorulumon has a drill tail. Dorulumon has a drill tail. Dorulumon has multiple drills on his face.
No. I'm gonna dig out with my human hands.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you could also say that, and I wrote this down before Dorulumon actually helped, but maybe maybe his drill would cause a cave-in, but then we find out that no, it doesn't. Taiki doesn't even ask for help. Because the thing is, Taiki wants people to ask for help, and he always asks if people need help. But Taiki himself does not ask for help.
Yeah, it's true.
People will offer to help, and he won't turn that down.
Yeah.
But he does not ask for help.
I thought it was really interesting when he was like giving his original speech of like, I've got a, not I have a plan, but we can do this together if we have a plan. And Shalman goes, all right, everybody, all right, this is my general, listen and be amazed.
And he's just like, well, let's dig with our hands.
That was actually at the time. I was like, so what's your plan? He goes, I don't have one yet. And they're like, oh, we're doomed.
I like how Shatmore just has like this like faith in his partner. They're not even partners, they're just sort of colleagues.
So yeah, they get the drill dog to work on it because obviously.
Because he's inspired. But a bit before that, we have for a bit, they're talking about how things can cave in. And in the dub, Mikey keeps describing to Angie different ways they can die because she had a bad idea about how they can get out. In the original, Taiki's just saying that they should dig. Also, in the dub, Angie says that digging is retro. Jeremy asks for his sword in the dub, and Starmon seems upset that Jeremy's calling him his mighty sword.
It's like, what do you mean your sword? Because
Yeah.
he's not. He's a sword that doesn't belong to anyone.
Also-
the sword's a Digimon.
My favourite part of the show is still whenever they make the Star Sword and the red Pikmon screams something like it's dig here, woof woof.
I'm glad that you finally noticed.
Like dig here, woof woof. What?
Yeah. Although I'm thinking, like, obviously the Pikmons can turn into other stuff. Couldn't
Yeah.
it turn into like a shovel
Yeah, maybe they didn't think about that, or maybe it just can't.
or a drill?
Well, they have drill face dog.
It can turn into like a sling that we've never seen again. The slingshot.
Oh yeah, that was in the second episode.
Yeah. Obviously they're more flexible than they appear.
Yeah, but we haven't seen Shovel, so maybe not Shovel. Angie's not helping, and in the dub, she says it's because she just got her nails done.
Yeah.
Not sure where. I think they've been in the
2
Digi-World
weeks
maybe
ago.
like a couple of weeks. So I don't know how she just got her nails done at the Digi-Nail Salon, but whatever. The prisoners are being helpless, and Taiki says he's going to create a new world. In the dub, it's similar, except they add on some dumb lines about ice cream for no
Yeah.
reason. They make like it takes a lot away from how cool and how like touching this sort of like rallying speech is. Like in the original, it's really inspiring.
We'll make a new world of freedom, democracy, and ice cream for all.
Yeah, no, it adds a joke to it and it makes it less serious.
Because all the 7-year-olds who are watching,
Want ice cream.
yeah, they love ice cream, don't you know?
And then Dorulumon's inspired by this and helps. In the dub, he narrates through the dramatic shots with each of the characters digging, and it's about how they don't have much of a chance of digging through with just their bare hands.
Even though there are a lot of guys with actual bare hands.
Yeah.
Their hats say bears, just in case you were curious about what they were.
Yeah, maybe. Well, what about Cutemon? We don't know what Cutemon is.
Oh, I know what Cutemon is. It says it at the end of every sentence.
Q. I love Cumon. Ancient Volcamon is asking if Death Meramon's okay, and I love this.
Yeah.
Because Death Meramon was hurt in the battle, and that's why Ancient Volcamon showed up.
Yeah.
When have we ever had a bad guy care about the lackey?
It is really rare. That actually reminds me of like the thing that you don't see in wrestling anymore, which is like someone's walking it through backstage, and then someone who's like not involved with them in any feuds or any storylines, but they are co-workers, just goes, "Oh, night, man." Like
Yeah.
it's a living, breathing workspace.
Yeah.
That's what this is as well.
But I don't know, it's like, they usually say, oh, toughen up, and, whatever. And they just shrug it off. But this is actual care. It's like, oh, Skull Meramon, are you okay? And that this shows that even the bad guys, they're still generals of an army, right? Or maybe he's not so much a general because he's like Tactimon's
He's a two
the
Lennons.
general. He's still high up. And he cares about his men. And that just, I don't know, I like it. The dub removes it. He doesn't care, and he's just saying, he's like gloating. Like instead, in the place where in the original he's saying like, Skull Meramon, are you okay? He's gloating about how easy it was to get the crossloader.
And then it's like, about this crossloader.
Yeah, Death, like, he remembers it.
I don't know about this one.
Like, he realizes it's, like, he says, that's fake. And then Ancient Pokemon says, Nani? So the main characters escape, but they're ambushed. They make cross too, and Don Dokomon is excited because it's a battle, but then again, he chickens out, and that's how he shows up. And then I noticed when we have all the regular Meramon fighting, they just die, a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
So this is another season when we never had the discussion of, should we be killing Digimon?
No, it's war.
Yeah.
Why would you not kill them?
Like, and no one's freaking out like they're killing these Digimon. They're just sort of like, okay.
No, that's straight up like
they're-
sick murder.
They're like dissolving, and they're screaming, they're being in pain, and there's
They're
tons
being
dying.
murdered with boomerangs.
Yeah. I don't know, it's interesting to see how each season handles death.
That's why it's the most adventure season.
Yeah, but they were doing it more to survive, not so much because it was war.
I mean, that's what they're doing here.
Yeah, this is like, but this
They
is
wouldn't
more
fight
so.
if they didn't have to.
Yeah, well, a few times they tried to escape, like with the Monochromon. They were just like, we don't have to be here. Masaru would just punch the Monochromon, though, we know that. Then, in the fight, an attack misses cross 2, and in the dub, times 2 says, miss me, now you gotta, oh, never mind. Wow. And also, like, can we, like, real talk here?
Cross
Like,
doesn't have a mouth.
who says, miss me, now you gotta kiss me, in, like, this came out in 2011? I don't think I've heard, like, that phrase since maybe 2004?
The same show that says, are you Digimon or Digimice?
Oh, yeah.
By the way,
Yeah?
a mouse would still be a Digimon in this world.
Yes.
So Digimice are Digimon.
Yeah, Tumon.
Yeah, so what's he saying?
Well, actually, let me digi-splain you a thing.
Please don't.
Okay, you would say that Goemon's more like a seal. I'm trying to think of a fish Digimon, and I'm completely running a blank. There are like Seedramon. Would you say that's a fish Digimon?
No, it's a snake.
Coelamon. You don't know Coelamon, but Coelamon's a fish Digimon. So's Dolphmon, right?
Alright.
They are fish, but they are Digimon. Marching fishes. They
Those
are
are
fish.
straight up fish. Those aren't
Those
Digimon.
are fish. What if they were Digimice, and then they were just Mousemon?
Yeah, but like, for example, if a mouse was human, you wouldn't say, are you human or a
Yeah, but
humouse?
marching fishes, I'm just saying, are not Digimon. They are fishes. Fish.
Are they not? Well, they must not be, but they're part of an attack.
Yeah, but we've also...
We can only assume they're summoned as part of an
I'm pretty sure in
attack.
scenes of Digimon, we have seen fish. Like, just fish. They may be weird colours, but they are
What
fish.
do people eat in the Pokemon world? Is it Magikarp?
It's Farfetch.
What?
It's Farfetch. The Pokedex entry for Farfetch say that it's a delicacy.
Oh, delicious. But is it a delicacy because it's holding food? It's holding a leak?
Oh no, they eat the meat. Magikarp, I'm pretty sure they eat
Peking
too.
Farfetch. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Cross 2 de-evolves, and Shoutmon says, hey, make me Cross 2 again. And then Taiki, doing something that no other character in Digimon has ever been able to fathom, says, no, doing the same thing that we just did won't work.
Yeah, it's nice.
Like, that's the exact same thing. Why would we do that again? How would that even work? And I'm just like, I can't believe how much this amazed me and how much it stood out as an actual thing.
Man, Shoutmon's really dumb.
But no, but seriously, when has this ever... Like, they always say, okay, we'll just evolve and do the exact same thing, but harder.
I feel like in Atmon they've had this bit.
Yeah, but Atmon's good.
Yeah, well, it's still...
Yeah, I'm talking about, like, adventure. Maybe
You
even...
can't just change what you meant when you were proven wrong.
I'm pretty sure in Tamers, like, Impmon was doing the same thing, and I'm pretty sure not Shisamon, because it looks like Shisamon, but it's the dog god. It just said, hey, not the god, the Deva, the god Deva. I'm pretty sure it said, hey, you're doing...
4 dark Devas of destruction.
Yes, you're doing the same thing that you've already done. Why you do this? But in every other season, they're always like, okay, just attack harder and you win. Hey, Agumon evolved to Greymon for the 5th time in the battle, and then just Nova Blast, but better this time. Okay, Taiji. But it's just like, it surprised me and it amazed me, and I don't know, it's a highlight of Cross Wars. I'm just gonna say that. He makes Cross 3 and then Cross 4, and I'm really liking how Taiki, like, calls the commands through his crossloader.
Because it's a microphone, get it?
Yeah, but even then, like, that's how they communicate. But Shoutmon still calls out attacks, but meanwhile, we can talk about Kiriha, who just calls the attacks and gets an echo. Like, he gets, like, the echo of an attack.
What do you mean an echo?
You know when Digimon shout their attacks?
Yeah.
And, like, their voice goes all echoey? Like, it has, like, some effect on the voice?
I guess.
And Kiriha gets the same effect when he shouts the attacks of his Digimon.
Because when he does it, the Digimon just does the attack.
Yeah. I know, I just find it interesting. Because it's an interesting, unique mechanic that Cross Wars has that the other seasons don't. Taiki uses the Agumon Digimemory, and it's 3 of them. The dub has a pretty weird typo here where they write Augumon. So it's Agumon.
Agumon.
And apparently the French dub, I tweeted a screenshot, and it's like, it's Angamon. So apparently no one could correct this, no matter what the dub was. Also, the Agumon make a really high-pitched noise in the dub for some reason.
I can't figure out. So, are they 3 different Digimemories?
No, it's one Digimemory.
How can it be one Digimemory? There's 3 Digimon. Who's remembering them?
Someone with 3 Agumon, I guess.
Also, all things considered, like...
Also, they're just called Digimemories because they're the shape of memory cards.
I kind of figure out... So, he's gone through 3 of, like, the 5 Digimemories. Is this mechanic just over soon?
I don't remember.
If you can only use them once?
Yes. I know that there are many for the toys, but I can't remember how many there are for the show.
And how smart was it to use the Agumon against a volcano?
Oh, it does nothing, and everyone says, hey, Taiki, that was really dumb.
But is anyone going to mention, like, the legendary Digimemories, you just wasted it?
Because
no one says it.
I think Shoutmon would, but Shoutmon's 1, not very smart. 2, thinks that everything that Taiki does is wonderful. And 3, seems to actually value that Taiki's a general, so doesn't want to, like, say, hey, general, that was a dumb decision. Taiki wonders how to win, and he says up front won't work. So he says he's going to plug the volcano and the magma flow goes backwards. And it's kind of gruesome.
Okay, so we talk about when they kill all the Meramon, and he absorbs them. And the only difference is that the volcano thing that was on his back it was like a blowhole, becomes a belly button on his front. That's the thing that changed. For some reason. Wait, is that next episode?
I think that might be next episode.
Yeah, that's when he comes back?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this one they grab a rock and they plug it, and in doing so, and I thought like, oh, well, they'll beat him by freezing him somehow. They just plug the hole.
No.
And then apparently, even though he's not erupting all the time, right? So apparently, even though he's not erupting all the time, he doesn't need to release the magma. Once the hole is plugged, he can't control it anymore, and he fills with magma and like dies. Except he doesn't die. He just is hurt, even though he explodes.
Yeah, he comes back. I thought he died, but he
explodes from the inside with his own lava.
Oh, it's a really horrifying scene.
If I popped like a blood balloon, like I wouldn't expect to come back the next episode and be like, hey guys, what's up?
Unless you were that kid in Taiki's class who was really sick and then came back the next day and it was fine.
Let's talk about that when it happens, because that is the worst thing the English has ever done.
But yeah, we'll get to that. In the dub, Shoutmon is trying to be really dramatic, and he's talking dramatically to make up for like a bit of animation where it's just like Shoutmon like is posing a lot. And Taiki tells him to hurry up in the attack, and that's in the dub. Dorulumon is being really tsundere as normal, and is being really cool.
What do you need?
And Shoutmon's saying that he's being so cool. In the dub, Shoutmon says that Dorulumon's not as cute and cuddly like enough, so he could be cuddled by Dorulumon, because Dorulumon seems to only like Cutemon.
Yeah, well, so do I.
Yeah. The sun rises for their victory, and everyone comments on it. Then Tactimon shows up, and he says he knows Dorulumon, and Dorulumon has destroyed many zones. Also, I would like to point out that Tactimon is mentioned in the title, but doesn't close in until the last 2 minutes.
Also, the more important thing that he says is not only, like, he used to be my right-hand man, and then he betrayed me. and that means
No, he doesn't. He doesn't say betray until the next episode. I thought.
He says he used to be my right hand man until he turned on me. It's like one line, and then he goes into it later.
Then we get Mal Bergermon in the data lab, which is important.
It's not. None of these are important except the one with Monitormon.
Yeah, Monitomon's great. So episode 9, as we just said, Tactimon says Dorulumon was his most clever warrior. In the dub, he was a savage and ruthless warrior.
I just land on the word like right hand man, even though they don't know what a man is.
Mon, right hand Mon,
Yeah, that would have been funnier actually.
Wolfmon.
And so the premise that he's trying to say is, well, he betrayed me, and thus he will betray you. However,
Okay, so this whole scene, does Tactimon not just sound like a broken-hearted lover?
it does. But like, from the kid's perspective, someone who betrays the bad guy, doesn't that just mean they've learned from their mistakes and have become a good
Look,
guy?
I think Tactimon actually was hurt by this.
But it
I
doesn't-
feel like he's actually heartbroken from whatever happened.
But why is he? Because we find out what happened, and it was nothing.
Well, it did foil his plans.
Did it?
Yeah.
How?
Big fire explosion,
And what? That fire explosion happened.
but with less fire.
What do you mean?
Well, it would have had a reaction, I'm assuming, in the holes, and the holes would have been lit on fire.
No, but they were incidental deaths
Yeah.
that Dorulumon was trying to avoid, not part of the plan.
No, that was part of the plan. It was a suicide mission.
Was it?
Yeah.
I thought-
Well, in the original, Dorulumon says it's a suicide mission. In the dub, they're just in the line of fire.
I thought they were just in the line of fire. I thought they were.
No, in the dub, it's because I made a point that this was a change. It goes from like Tactimon is planning to kill you. This is a suicide mission.
No.
In the dub, it's just like you're in the line of fire. Tactimon doesn't care if you die or not.
When you say Blake planning to kill them, my understanding was like he's throwing you at this battle and has no intention of you surviving.
No, he's part of a plan. No, it's part of a plan. In the dub, it's more like he doesn't care if you survive or not. But in the original, it's just like you are part of the plan. He is killing you. Because I made a point to note that this was a big difference between the versions.
So is the idea, and they do not say it then, is the idea that if they were hit with the artillery, then they would have also exploded?
Yes.
Because Meramon don't do that.
I think they were planted.
But we know that doesn't happen. Because in this episode, a bunch of Meramon die and they
No.
don't explode.
Yeah, we don't know what they're firing at them.
We do. It's fire. It's an attack.
Yeah, but it could react differently to the Meramon. It couldn't necessarily kill them, but it could cause them a lot of pain. I don't know.
What does that mean?
The point is, it is a big difference between the dub and the original. That, like, what Tactimon's doing. It's like, oh, Tactimon doesn't care about you, as opposed to Tactimon is actually sending you out to die. Like, this is, you are part of his plan. You are tools to him. Tactimon is telling the main characters not to put trust in Dorulumon because he makes you think that he's your friend before turning around to betray you. And I just have it written down multiple times in my notes. Tactimon is a hurt lover.
He misses him so bad.
Like, and yes, it does come across a little bit of unreasonable, and you're right in that he's saying, oh, Dorulumon betrayed me, a bad guy, so Dorulumon will also betray you, the good guys, right? Like, that doesn't
nonsense.
that doesn't make sense. So it's almost like you are being so irrational, it's like you've got a broken heart.
And also, it's not a betrayal. No one was betrayed. His, like, best interest, he saved his own troops.
You know when I mentioned my OTP in Crossforce, it's Tactimon and Dorulumon. I'm kidding. We
Wow.
haven't seen my OTP yet, and trust me, you'll know because it'll be your OTP as well.
I don't believe you. I don't think I have one.
It's the best thing ever, my true OTP. I think I've mentioned it a few times in the Slack. Taiki says that he still trusts Dorulumon, and Tactimon says that they will die together then. He makes a huge sword, and it takes a bit of time. So of course the dub comments about how long it takes, and he says, wait for it, while he's just holding his arm up in the air. Because you can't just have, like, this suspenseful, like, moment where he's just, like, basically calling and summoning his sword.
You can.
I don't know, but in the dub, they add in the line of, like, wait for it. Like, it just adds in, like, this random bit of noise, and it just...
Would you
I
prefer
don't know.
that or the one at the end?
What one at the end?
Where it's always the screen.
yeah, the
always being like,
monitor.
I'm loading.
Yeah.
I'm loading.
Tactimon's attack separates Dorulumon and Tactimon from the others, and Taiki tells the others to leave. Dorulumon attacks Tactimon. Shoutmon and the others run off, and Taiki is just happy that they're safe. And again, this is like Taiki's like sacrificial nature is just like he doesn't really care what happens to him as long as like everyone else is having a good time.
Not that Taiki had any influence on this situation at all. He was accidentally on that side of the gorge, and then the attack was aimed at Dorulumon.
Yeah, but he's still relieved. Like he's not taking credit for it. He's just relieved that they're getting off to safety. Tactimon grabs grabs the crossloader and steps in Dorulumon's face. He says in accordance with the law, he will give them both the most gruesome death imaginable, but he's mainly talking to Dorulumon because he is a hurt lover. Meanwhile, Kiriha's wiping out Troopmon, and then in the dub they've given the Troopmon like droopy voice, like, oh dear. He tells Malbergamon not to chase him too far as this zone already belongs to him and it's not really necessary. So this is an interesting thing of his
Wasn't it
character.
the volcanic zone though?
No, it's a different zone.
I thought he was around the area because in the background it looks like there are mountains around.
Maybe it's the zone next to each other.
Maybe.
But in any case, like, they run off, and he's just like, I don't need to kill them. Like, compared with other characters like Ruki, who are just like, nah, I'll kill everything.
Is this the bit where Nene shows up?
Yeah, Nene shows up and informs Kiriha that Taiki's being executed. In the dub, it's just captured, and they're prisoners.
You know how good the dub is actually an improvement on the scene. Did you pick that one up?
And which part?
Where they cut to, like, her thoughts.
Oh, yeah,
And he's like,
part, yeah.
why are you telling me that? He's like, well, because, I thought you're really good and you want, you're interested in him or whatever. And then in her mind, she's like, because I know what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Like, she's manipulating him and he doesn't know.
Yeah, because it's giving, like, Nene a bit of an extra bit of character. It's just like...
Well, other than the weird girl who stalks people.
Yeah, she kind of just shows up. That's kind of a deal. Tactimon says there's a public display because he wants to humiliate Dorulumon. In the dub, he's just saying, oh, you're going to live in the cage forever because you betrayed me.
Because we're not going to execute you because that would be violent.
Dorulumon says that working with Tactimon was embarrassing itself, so he doesn't have to worry about humiliating him.
Like, I mean, he was wearing those glasses. So.
Yeah, I'd like to believe, like, Tactimon made him wear the glasses. I'm like, no, you have to look like a beardy. And he's just like, I don't want to. But like, no, I hate those eyes. I hate those eyes.
It's like living through the 80s.
I think Vamdemon should have just made Tailmon wear glasses.
Or the 90s when no one knew how to dress themselves.
I knew how to dress myself in the 90s.
No, you didn't. You were a small child. No one knew how to dress themselves
My
at
parents
that age.
always let me dress myself as a kid, and that's why I was wearing gumboots, fairy wings, and overalls.
Oh, yeah, no, actually, that's fair enough. You knew exactly how to dress yourself.
Yeah, they always wanted me to be me, so I dressed myself in fairy rings and gumboots, and that was kind of my deal.
Yeah, the damage never went away, huh?
That's totally my fashion sense. I don't know what you're talking about.
The damage.
You've been taking notes from Brady about how to insult me, huh?
I don't need help.
Tactimon mentions that Dorulumon left a smear on his perfect military record, and the enemy took a code crown. We don't know who the enemy is.
And I guess it was the code crown for a snow area?
Yeah, it was 3 years ago, but we don't know who the enemy was at that point.
I did think that was a bit weird.
Yeah, because it can't be Kiriha because it's 3 years, and like Kiriha's probably not been there 3 years.
Might have been.
He'd be very young.
Could be Digi years.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And it depends if Kiriha knows how to go back and forth. Because if he did...
Maybe you don't age in the digital world.
Oh, you think that Kiriha's just been there for 3 years?
Could have been.
He's always been there. Taiki asks if this is why Dorulumon doesn't have any friends. And Dorulumon says he doesn't need friends. And then we just have like the shot of Blue Meramon behind him. Like just dropping, like his jaw dropping to the floor. And he's just like... and just like, you can like pinpoint the moment where his heart breaks in half. He's just like, friend! We find out that Ancient Volcamon's alive, which is really surprising.
He's fine.
Zenjiro wonders if Dorulumon was the one who attacked Cumon's village. However, the dub ruins this by adding like this whole joke, and it's a running joke for a couple of scenes where Mikey said that he had a plan apparently, and Jeremy's saying, I bet Mikey said he had a plan, and Cutemon says that he was just saying that. And this is instead of Zenjiro saying, hey, I wonder if Dorulumon's the one who attacked Cutemon's village, and Cutemon saying, no, he wouldn't.
It's a funny idea. Like, it's interesting. Although they never confirm one way or the other, which is amazing.
What? If Dorulumon attacked the village, they do.
Not really.
In the next scene. He said, it was 3 years ago. That means Dorulumon couldn't have attacked the village.
Oh, right, because the thing was recent. Right.
Yeah.
Because in my head, like, they blew up a bunch of zones. I'm like, well,
it was confirmed.
Which ones.
So no, it was definitely confirmed. Tactimon wants Taiki and Dorulumon to have a painful death, and again, in the cage forever. It's like Vamdemon banishing Pumpmon and Gotsumon to the
Shadow Realm,
to the prison in the digital world. I'm like, no, they died.
That's what all of Yu-Gi-Oh! Has been about. Everyone has been fooled.
Kiriha shows up, and Tactimon wants the other Digimon to hold back because he can fight alone. And I mentioned this before, but I love how Kiriha's calling the attacks instead of just like saying what's going to happen. He is just straight up calling the attacks for the Digimon. Blue Meramon rescues Taiki because he says he owes Dorulumon a debt.
And then dies.
Then when we see them walking in the caves, in the dub, they keep mentioning Mikey's plan that he supposedly had.
Oh, you're talking about the one when he rescued him from the cage, not from Skull Meramon's attack.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No, that's not for a bit. Taiki wants to know what happened. Dorulumon says what happened. He says what happened with Dorulumon, and that Dorulumon's not a traitor. And what he did was he came to save the Blue Meramon because Tactimon sent them on a suicide mission. Dorulumon said to say it was his order and not their own. And we find out that it's been 3 years, and Akari realizes that he can't be the one who attacked the Cutemon village. Then in the dub, it's the same. Which makes no sense, because him attacking the Cutemon village was never mentioned until this part. Like, it wasn't mentioned back because they had to add the line about Taiki having a plan and not actually having a plan at all. And instead, like, Angie's mentioning now, oh, he can't have been the one who attacked the Cutemon village. I'm like, but you never questioned that in the dub.
My question is, Dorulumon goes to save the Blue Meramon, but he clearly fails, except for this one. All the other ones were obviously blown up. So, like, why would Tactimon even think that he was a traitor? There's nothing, the plan went off exactly as it was planned.
He thinks he's a traitor because, as I mentioned before, the plan explicitly included the Meramon being there and all the Boltmon.
But he blew them all up.
No, they escaped.
No, only one escaped.
No, we literally, I'm not sure if you didn't watch the episode, but that we have a Boltmon, and in the dub they actually add in the lines, "What? We're gonna die? What? We're out of here." Like, they include the Boltmon there, and we see the Blue Meramon leaving the hole. And the reason Blue Meramon stays behind is because he's making sure all the other ones get to safety, and he's held back in the blast. The blast goes off, but it obviously isn't enough because the Meramon that were part of his plan don't die.
What were they shooting, though? There were no enemies around.
That part's not included because I don't think it's relevant to the story.
I mean, it is a little bit.
I don't think so. All we need to know is that the Meramon were part of a plan, and Dorulumon stopped that plan from happening, and the plan failed, and the enemy got the code crown. That's all we need to know, because that's all that's really relevant.
I mean, I guess that means that Dorulumon decided, his leader was immoral, even though he's destroyed several zones.
Yeah, but because you're on different sides at that point. Like, if you're killing the bad guy, that's fine. But what Dorulumon has an issue with is you're killing men on your own team.
How did it take him years to figure out that his commander was like that? He had to work his way up through the army to work that one out?
Yeah, well, obviously, maybe this was only a one-off thing where he destroys his own men. Because I genuinely think that in Cross Wars, the bad guys care about their lackeys, and this was just a one-off, but Dorulumon thought it was disgusting enough that he would just leave.
It doesn't seem cromulent to me, but whatever.
I think it's fine. Taiki is taken to where his crossloader is, and then he gets attacked by Death Meramon. Blue Meramon jumps in the way and dies, and it's kind of sad, actually.
It's fine.
He just saved them.
So much for character. More of a blue fire dude that was just there.
Ancient Volcamon evolves to fused Ancient Volcamon by absorbing the Meramon.
Now he has the belly button.
Yes. In the dub, Ancient Volcamon calls Dorulumon a kitty when he's clearly not a cat. Taiki uses the Garurumon Digimemory. Dorulumon says that it was unnecessary, and Taiki says he wants to be like Dorulumon and be brave like him. I was like, well, it's still unnecessary just to use the Garurumon for no reason.
It was really necessary, though.
Then Dorulumon asks to be crossed with Shoutmon, and he makes the Dorulu cannon.
No, but right before that, there's one of the greatest lines in all of Digimon, in which Dorulumon tells Taiki, if we do become friends, I might betray you. And Taiki says, if we become friends, you can betray me anytime.
I love Dorulumon, though. He's my best friend. He's such a good dog.
Also, are you really crossing Shoutmon and Dogmon if Dogmon just becomes a cannon?
You'd think he'd become a drill or something, wouldn't he?
You'd think that, but think about it this way, like, you combine the Pikmon and Starmon to become a sword, and then you hold the sword.
Yeah.
You don't combine Jeremy with the sword.
Oh, no, you kind of do. Like, Digicross Jeremy!
You
and
don't,
he, like,
though.
fuses with the sword.
You don't... Well, that said, you do Digicross Shoutmon X3 with a sword. So...
I guess you can kind of say. Anyway, speaking of Cross 3, they make Cross 3.
Also, that's Cross 5. There's 2 Digimon in the sword!
He does the V carving again through the opponent, which I really like. And then we see in the fight between Kiraha and Tactimon, Greymon gets realized. And Tactimon's impressed, and he's like, you have Greymon under your command.
Look, let's talk about this Greymon thing for a second.
No, in a bit, because what you're saying is a bit after that. So what annoys me is that we know that this is meant to be a big moment, because
that's exactly
earlier,
what I was going to say.
Male Bergermon says, I mean, it's not, because I know what you're going to say. Male Bergermon says, oh, don't realize him. And then, of course, now we have Tactimon being impressed. So that lives up to that expectation of Greymon being impressive, because Tactimon is impressed. Oh, you got Greymon under your control? Like, he's surprised and he's impressed.
Also, by the way, you notice how he says you got Greymon, not a Greymon. You got Greymon.
Yes.
That's a guy.
Yeah, Greymon's not just it seems, there's Shoutmon, and there's Dorulumon, and there's, the one-off Digimon.
There's a Pikmon.
Yeah. No, there's Pikmons. There's multiple Pikmons.
There's
one
say,
Starmon.
That's Pikmon. No, there's
one
a
Starmon.
Pikmon over there.
Yeah, but in this point, it's like, it's Greymon. It's specifically Greymon. And what I'm complaining about is in the dub, he doesn't seem that impressed. He's just like, oh, a Greymon. He just says, oh, that's a Greymon. Like, it's not impressive because it's just like, a Greymon, eh? Like, it's just like, he could have realized anything, like, a Palmon, eh?
Well, I mean, think about what's about to happen with this Greymon and be like, well, I guess I wouldn't feel that
no,
impressed either.
I like what happens. So Greymon, legendary, strong, powerful Greymon, says to Kiraha, are you okay?
No, that's
so
cute.
It shows that, like, not only is this Greymon working for Kiraha, it cares for him.
I know, but that's not what I'm getting at here. But I guess it's immediately, like, right now.
Yeah.
It's the
dub makes it worse.
We've set up Greymon as, like, this ultimate killer that is so powerful it will kill everyone in the area. And so Kira has made the decision, the very important decision of, okay, this fight is so serious, I will summon Greymon. All right, now what? Greymon comes out and he does one, like, tail attack, which is, I guess, deflected or bounces off an Tactimon attack.
It was in a defensive, like, he realizes him in a defensive way.
And then after having summoned Greymon, he's like, big trump card, he then leaves and doesn't even try to fight.
Because he realizes how strong Tactimon is. Like, Tactimon is an end of game boss, like, basically. He's a very strong Digimon.
He didn't fuse his Digimon, even though
Kiraha's not dumb. Kiraha's not going to fight it, like, in a battle that he's not going to win.
He doesn't know. He hasn't tried.
I think he can tell how strong Tactimon is.
That is an extreme reach.
Like, there aren't really levels in Cross Wars, but Tactimon's like an ultimate.
He never says he couldn't beat him.
I think it's implied. Anyway, my other
It's really
complaint.
not.
My other complaint is that in the dub, Greymon just says Tactimon's too powerful, which makes Greymon seem even weaker.
It does. I mean, it makes more sense as to why they would leave.
Yeah, it does make sense about why they would leave, but it makes Greymon seem weak.
Yeah, I think one of the English writers had the same thought I'm currently having, and we're like, we have to explain that. I don't think it does him any favors.
I know, but it seems that in the original, it's Kiriha's decision to leave. In the dub, it's Greymon's sort of decision to leave, but I really
coward.
I like Greymon being concerned about Kiriha because it just forget about, like, if Greymon's being impressive or not. Kiriha is impressive in this scene because he has, you got Greymon in on your side, like that impressive Tactimon being impressed, that means a lot. And then we have Greymon caring about Kiriha, that also that's significant, right?
Yeah, well, Taiki has a princess.
Taiki has a Cutemon, sort of, and a drum set.
It's a drum, it's not a set.
Yeah.
It evolved into a drum set.
In the dub, and I keep on forgetting that this is Kiriha's name, but Christopher calls Tactimon Buckethead.
His name is Matt, or Yamato.
Yeah, I noticed in your notes you just call him Matt.
I call him Kiriha occasionally, when I remember that's his name.
Dorulumon is part of Team Crossheart now. In the dub, he's still reluctant to join. Like, he's still like, okay. In the original, it's just like, yeah, I'll join. Like, I don't know, it's a weird sort of thing. They get the code crown because it just shows up.
I'm so angry about this.
At least the dub makes it into a joke almost, because Jeremy says, if only we found the code crown.
This is exactly like when they crashed in that cactus and got the crest of purity or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, the bad guys were digging for this thing for ages, and then it
just sort of shows up.
They didn't do anything.
But this was...
The only person they beat was Volkmon.
But this was ancient Volkmon. But this point was foreshadowed at the start of this zone, where Dorulumon says that a code crown can just show up out of nowhere.
But that's not true.
I don't know. It is very plot convenient, but...
No, it's literally felt like we'd have no idea how to give him the code crown, because who's going to have it? All the bad guys are looking for it.
It's in Dorulumon's glasses. I don't know.
What?
The prisoner Digimon are free now, and Nene is watching. Taiki says that the prisoners should protect the magma zone now. In the dub, instead of this, he's saying, remember, there's no I in team, it's spelled T-E-A, and then Shoutmon says, well, I'm bored, like, during Mikey's talking, and that doesn't seem like Shoutmon, because previously we've seen Shoutmon sort of, like, kind of worship Taiki a little bit, or, like, understand where he stands and him being the general, and that being a good position for him to be in, for him to be the king. Like, okay, I'll just make sure the general's happy.
Yeah, also, don't we know for a fact that the people of the Magma Zone can't defend it? That's how they got conquered in the first place.
Yeah, but that's why I almost called him Taichi. Taiki is making this speech. Like, he's just saying, remember, you can do this.
But you'll
have to protect it. But the motivating speech did help them dig out, and they hadn't done that before.
No, the drills helped them dig out.
Yeah, but they still had the... I know.
No, they didn't.
I know.
They didn't. Only Dorulumon got them out.
I think it's fine.
Also, Tactimon is still around. They're gonna leave, and he's still there, and he's obviously more powerful than all of them.
Oh, yeah, and could probably kill the prisoners, yeah.
So he's gonna.
Well, actually, Tactimon and Kiriha did kind of just fly off into the distance.
No, Kiriha flew off the distance. Tactimon was standing on the ground watching him go.
Yeah, but then they flew off away from Ancient Volcamon because I explicitly remember a scene where Ancient Volcamon goes, there they go, and it reminds me of the flying lawnmower for some reason. Because they just fly off into the distance, like Tactimon and Kiriha when they're fighting. So they went off somewhere. I don't know. Anyway, the data lab is Monitormon. There can be 30 in one area. I love Monitormon. He's my best friend.
That's not what he said. He didn't say there can be 30 in one area. He said if you see one, there's probably 30 more around.
Yeah, because they're ninjas. Like Teletubbies, but kind of like...
Except in reverse.
Yeah, it's on their face, not their belly.
If you take their shirts off, there's a big face on their belly, though, and it's really gross.
In the dub, in the next time on, Taiki says, could this be the end of the Fusion Fighters? And Shoutmon goes, nah.
Spoilers.
Yeah. And Taiki was like, don't ruin the suspense, Shoutmon. I don't know. I think it's kind of cute. What were your thoughts on this episode as someone who's new to Digimon?
It's so boring.
Really?
Every single part of it is so boring. There's no suspense in anything. Oh, your new friend is a traitor to the bad guys. Isn't that what you want? So there's no tension around that whatsoever. I don't care about these Blue Merimon at all. Even, I think that the plan that was discussed, obviously the plan that Tactimon had that was ruined by Dorulumon, even in the way you've put it where he actually was a traitor, it's a terrible plan.
Yeah.
So it doesn't stand up to the name Tactimon. I don't think the portrayal of Greymon was any good. I think that Shoutmon was just a whiny baby the whole time and did nothing. And he just is made to look stupid, which is fine, but I don't know what to say about it other than he looks dumb. Taiki was good at bits. Jeremy was non-existent. Akari was non-existent. Cutemon was cute, and Dorulumon was
a doggo.
The same character. Like we learned new things about him, but at the end of the day, you actually have the same information because his character doesn't change at all.
He joined the team though.
He was already on the team.
He officially joined
He'd been on the team the whole time. Even he didn't know it.
I know, he officially joined it. How would you rate the episode?
Like 4?
I gave both a 6.
Yeah.
I know. I still enjoyed it. Like, you're right, it's not the best episodes we've had, but like, I don't know. I like Dorulumon, I like Cutemon, I like Taiki as a leader. I know you weren't a huge fan of Greymon's realizing, but I really did like the Tactimon being impressed by it. How did it compare to your predictions of Obnoxious Synopsis?
I was pretty wrong for most of this. I thought like they'd beat the Golem really quickly in the first episode, and that was obviously not correct. They get captured and everything. And then I thought that like Dorulumon would leave and like feign that he doesn't want to be part of the team. The only time he ever even like suggested he might not be part of the team was like concern for Taiki and be like, oh well, maybe you don't want me because you know I'm evil. It's like, no, you're not. You betrayed evil people because they were doing evil things, and you've had a conscience. Like, I think the most interesting thing about this is the idea that Tactimon is just like butthurt that his friend went away.
Yeah, he does seem a little bit, I don't know, as I said before, hurt lover. What were the major differences that you noticed?
Obviously it has to be the execution.
Oh, yes.
Or lack thereof.
Yeah, saying, I'm going to execute you. Alternatively, like, you're just going to sit in the cage forever. See, besides the difference between the plan, obviously, they always will remove any super strong references to death, and this one was kind of avoidable, but they made it seem less severe. But by making it less severe, obviously, they removed kind of, like, why it was meaningful, and, you know, it was actually Tactimon's plan, and Dorulumon foiled it. I was annoyed by Angie not helping because she got her nails done in the digital world somewhere at some point, apparently. Gamer Jeremy was back. But again, and I mentioned this, that Tactimon not being impressed with Kiriha and Greymon is just like, it ruins it, right?
I guess. I don't think it, like, because I was unimpressed personally, that I don't care what his response was. I just saw Greymon show up, do one defensive-ish attack, and then leave. And so I'm like, well, I guess you're not much.
Also the fact that Greymon cares for Kiriha.
That was fine. That doesn't make him look impressive. That's just a nice character element.
Yeah. But, yeah, there are a lot of differences in these parts that it seems more than in previous episodes almost.
No, I think this is pretty standard for Cross Wars.
I know, I noticed that there were, I don't know, maybe it's because there was such a strong theme of death. In the original, episode 10 starts off with something saying that it's a 1 hour special, so whoops. And we find out that an idol from AKB48 is cosplaying her new character on Digimon that she's voicing, and it's going to be in this episode. So we get a longer previously on, which goes from like the start of the show, like, oh, Taiki was a boy, and then like he heard like the dying heartbeat of Shoutmon. In the dub, we don't get this longer previously on, we just get the normal one, and the original has both long previously on and regular previously on. We find out that the lake zone is really pretty. In the dub, Shoutmon asks if it's the vacation resort zone. We see some frozen toy Agumon, which is it's not a Digimon, by the way. It's not frozen toy Agumon. That's not the Digimon. It's toy Agumon that are frozen.
You could believe it was a Digimon, though.
Yeah, that's why I feel like I needed to reiterate that it was not frozen toy Agumon, the Digimon. No, it's just toy Agumon that are frozen. And
I like the rainbow barcodes in the sky. They're nice.
Yeah, and that's really cool. Like this sort of like soft sort of world building. It's like, oh, the skies, and they comment on it. It's kind of nice. Taiki again can hear a Digimon dying, like how he heard Shoutmon. And I guess this kind of makes the longer previously on kind of justified because it reminds the small children who can't remember things that happened 10 episodes ago.
How come the Meramon weren't in that state?
Meramon were bad and not probably calling out for help. And also like the Meramon were just dying.
This is what this is.
I think it was different dying. Like this was a slow death rather than just like impact death. Like it's just like when you're taking your dying breaths, like you are in the process of dying. It's not like an immediate death, right?
Maybe. I guess Digimon's never really clarified.
Yeah, like he's having a slow and painful death. So Nightmon is calling out for someone to save him. In the original, he's calling out for a general. In the dub, he references some legend or some prophecy that Mikey might be part of. And that's something that the dub of this episode tries to really force down your throat, is that in the original it's sort of like, oh yeah, Taiki can be a legendary hero sort of thing. Like he can be. In the dub, it's just like, oh no, he's prophesized to be, which is different. There's like, I don't know, it feels different, right?
To an extent. I mean, it feels very localized to this.
Yeah.
And I feel like they use the term legendary general in the Japanese as well.
Yeah, but that's more like, oh, you can become a legendary general. It's not so much in the dub, which is just like, oh, you are prophesized to be a legendary general. Like, you're like, oh, yes, the prophecy said right here that the legendary general would come.
I like the Pawn Chessmon, though. They're cute.
Yeah, the Pawn Chessmon are cute. I like Pawn Chessmon. I'm glad that we're seeing them being used again. Pretty much so soon as well from the previous season. Taiki jumps in the water because it's his bad, stupid habit of like, oh no, someone's in danger, better risk my life. And that's kind of just like a Taiki thing.
I feel like Akari goes, oh, there he goes again.
Yeah, he does.
But there's Taiki's bad habit again, she says.
Yeah, Chibi Kamimon goes to rescue him.
Because he's about to drown.
Yeah, Akari knows it's a good thing about Taiki's bad habit, but she says it's also why they can't get home because of this bad habit.
I think this is very interesting, and I'm sure it will never ever get followed up on. But it's very clear that Akari actually resents Taiki and does not like the fact that he brought them there.
Yeah, but at the same time, she's recognizing that it's a good thing.
Yeah, but like, for her personally, like, she objectively recognizes, oh, it's probably good, but she kind of hates him for it.
Yeah, because, like, would you not feel the same way? Like, you are stuck in this land with monsters who are trying to kill you, who are made out of fire, who are constantly chasing you. You don't really have anything to protect you. At least Taiki has,
I know too much about Digimon. Time's probably not moving in the real world.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, imagine if you could just die like this.
Maybe.
Like, imagine if because of this person, you are in grave danger.
What if it's really cool and you met Cutemon?
I feel like Akari's kind of like, I don't know, I feel like any hatred of Taiki is reasonable at this point. Even though Taiki's lovely, kind of did put Akari in a bad position. In the dub, Shoutmon says how Mikey saved his life, and Angie says, I rest my case, being his bad habit being a bad thing. So it's just like, I don't know, she's not as reasonable in the dub, she's just mean. In the original, she's worried about her parents being worried about her, which is fairly standard in Digimon. In the dub, she says that she never thought she'd say this, but she misses her mother's pineapple upside down cake. Then she looks at the photo, and it's warped. This is the photo that she took in the first episode, and I'm actually surprised that it actually came back and was relevant ever.
Specifically, the blimp is warped, so that made me think there was a Digimon on that blimp.
I can't remember. In the dub, Cutemon mentions Nightmon not being rusty, and that being a surprise.
It weirds me out that Nightmon's here, because wasn't Nightmon just like a weird jobber in, like, Frontier?
Yeah. Though I feel like Nightmon's also been in other seasons.
Not as an individual that has, like, a voice, as far as I'm aware.
Well, this is the most character he's been. Tactimon is watching zones being lost, lost. Balmon's looking for Lilithmon, and again, he's not really popular, and and Blastmon says that Reapers aren't wanted here. In the dub, they don't like him, but there's no reference to him being a mercenary.
Can we be clear that what they're saying in the Japanese is Shinigami, so that's more like, Reaper is an interesting translation of that, but it's like Death God.
Yeah, and I guess his name is Reapmon in the dub.
But that's probably coming from that translation.
Coming from him being a Reaper, yeah.
But he's a wizard.
Also, I'd like to point out that Blastmon accidentally mentions where Lilithmon is. In the original, he's just kind of thick and he just says, "Oh, she's with Ice Devimon." Like, he just mentions it because he doesn't think it through. In the dub, he's just like, "Well, we're not going to tell you that that she's at the Lake Zone. Oh, blast!" Like, he just mentions it.
Oh, he says, "Oh, blast." I get it.
Yeah.
I don't like this in the sense that, like, there is a mystery set up in the opening scenes of, like, oh, how did these Digimon get frozen? That's weird and interesting. And the moment you hear Ice Devimon, you go, well, now I know.
There we go.
And
we
then
know what he
they
does.
cut to the Snow Gotsumon and then Ice Devimon, which, you know, you could have filled in the gaps yourself and felt like you had connected the dots and be like, oh, it must have been him, etc. Just reshuffle these around a little bit and you could have added the tiniest bit of additional tension to the story.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Also, this is the part that I mentioned earlier where Blastmon is calling Tactimon Tactchan. And this is because Tactimon's telling him to think before he speaks when it comes to military intelligence. Then we see that Shoutmon's mad because Nightmon interrupts his introduction when he goes to introduce Taiki. In the castle, we see that Beastmon is having a nappy nap.
Bastemon?
I don't know why I said Beastmon. That's her name in the dub, isn't it?
No, I thought it was just Bastemon because Bast is the Egyptian cat god.
I know, but I think it's just called Beastmon in the dub.
I don't really remember.
Yeah, Basmon's having a nap. She's the ruler and she's the princess.
She looks so out of place. That's not a Digimon.
No. Well, to be fair, like, she's also voiced by an idol from AKB48, which is also surprising. I didn't realize AKB48 was around for so long. We find out that she sleeps 2/3 of the day. In the dub, in addition, she also coughs up fur balls.
Yeah.
And Angie says that she prefers dogs.
Well, that's fair enough.
That is fair enough. Brady, he prefers cats.
This week's poll, dogs or cats?
Nightmon wants Bastemon to make Taiki his leading knight, and Kiriha was already chosen.
Well, she says, oh, I already thought of someone else. And I'm immediately like, oh, is it Kiriha? And Kiriha just walks in and is like, oh, well, I guess, to settle it, we can fight each other.
In the dub, he asks if Mikey wants to arm wrestle for it.
I can't believe they don't actually fight each other for it.
I guess because, like, Kiriha, he's like, Taiki knows that Kiriha's strong. He's just like, oh, well.
But Taiki never responds.
Good place. Because he's like, oh, that's fair enough.
But wouldn't that mean that, yes, we fight now?
No, he's like, fair enough. Like, Kiriha's strong.
Okay.
Like, what I like about Taiki is that, and I like about Kiriha as well, is that neither of them undermine each other's strength. Like, they both are very aware about how strong the other is. They don't like each other, but they acknowledge their strength, and I kind of like that. There's no, like, it's a rivalry, but it's not a rivalry to the extent that they belittle each other. Then we see that Ice Devimon's thirsty, but Lilithmon is drinking his drink. Also, he's Christopher Walken in the dub.
Oh my god, it's
Again.
so good. I love Ice Devimon in the English only. He's a huge coward, though.
In the dub, he's saying that everyone's lazy instead of wanting to find a drink, which I don't know why they did that, but okay. Laylamon, who is Lilithmon by the way, has edited down breasts and her shirt is higher up so there's no cleavage. Balmon shows up and says that he's going to sell his services to Lilithmon. Both versions have Lilithmon asking if Balmon has a crush on her, which I found interesting. Like, I mean, she is the deadly sin of lust, so that kind of makes sense.
Damn it, I thought she was sloth.
Ice Devimon has a weird facial expression compared to normal. I don't know why. It just looks so out of place for this scary, like, horror-themed character, right?
Oh god, Lilymon, don't punch me.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I feel like Ice Devimon had a different voice in Tamers, but it was a...
Yes, he did. He was
like,
scary.
No, but in the dub, I feel like it was just there. Why do I feel like it was Taichi? It can't have been Taichi. I think, was it Matt? I know he had a voice of a previous character and it was really disturbing. There's plenty of Diginoir in the castle, and Taiki says that Diginoir is the only food that tastes good.
I mean, it does grow on trees.
Kiriha agrees. In the dub, Taiki's worried about a stomachache. Kiriha says that he's here for the Code Crown, but because of the princess, he's been thrown off pace. He says the Buggerer army might be an easier opponent than Bastemon.
But it doesn't matter, because he needs the Code Crown, and she has it.
Yeah. In the dub, he says how she spends all her time napping, she won't even miss it when it's gone. And it almost appears like he's not as sensitive in the dub, and it makes Taiki's, like, next statement about, oh yes, maybe there's more to him. Like, I'm beginning to think there's more to him. It just sort of, no, he still seems kind of like a jerk.
Bit of a jerk.
Taiki wonders about the expression that Kiriha has. In the dub, he says almost like he's hiding something. Nightmon says he has a bad feeling about Kiriha, and Taiki says he can't stop thinking about him because they're in love. Taiki mentions how he saw a kid in trouble in the rain and left him alone.
I'm so angry at this.
Yeah, because it's actually a really good story in the original.
It's a reasonable story.
Yeah, and an ambulance shows up and it was getting the kid and the same kid that he left alone. So it turns out he hit his head in a game of football and he got a concussion and he was out of school for half a year.
Yeah. Or in the English, oh, but he was fine the next day. But I
Yeah.
still felt bad about it.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that kid was really sick after soccer practice and was fine the next day.
So Taiki's, and they actually pretty much say this in the Japanese, Taiki's desperation to help people is because every time he thinks about not helping people, he thinks of missing out on helping this kid and the potential damage it might have done.
And he said the main reason he didn't help him was because he wasn't his friend. He was like, oh, okay. Like, he asked and the kid said, go away. And he was like, okay. And he said, oh, because he wasn't my friend, I didn't push, I just left. And that's explicitly why he doesn't just help out his friends, he also helps out people he doesn't even know.
Well, the idea is, and what I'm getting at though, is that what it implies is because of like the 6 month, and it's so serious, that he's basically been traumatized by this event and his own inaction.
Because this kid could have died.
Yeah. And like seeing the whole crowd and all of the guilt washing over him and thinking, oh God, I've like ruined this kid's life. You know, he's
This
6
kid's
months
dead.
behind in
Yeah.
school, or he might die, or all those things. Like, and he can see the damage because he didn't show up in school for so long, and then all of the fallout of that.
Also, in reality, like, I know Taiki's obviously not thinking about this, but what really could he have done? Because he was just walking and like 4 minutes later an ambulance
And
showed
yeah,
up.
in the actual reality, ambulance is already on its way, and the kid knows that.
Yeah, but I guess Taiki, because he was a kid, didn't really think it through and thought that he could do something magic that would save him.
But what I mean
But-
is, it's such a big
yeah.
event that he's traumatized.
Yeah, he has PTSD, and that's why he's so like irresponsible in helping people. Like he will hurt himself. Like he will overwork himself and make himself pass out. Like
But
that's
then
a problem.
in the English, because the kid was okay the next day, that's no longer trauma. This is an event that took 30 seconds of his day and like is a blip in his life.
Yeah, because like, oh, someone was sick for maybe 12 hours. Like if you say it's like nighttime at the moment because it's kind of dark, it's after soccer practice, that could be after school. So let's say it's 6 p.m. and he's at school the next day. He probably got up at like 6 a.m.
I'm thinking like this. You may as well have changed it in English that like, oh, but then it turned out he had food poisoning, so it was fine. Like,
Yeah, but yeah,
it could have been anything.
That's still nothing. It's like, I don't know, just you can still be in hospital. Like maybe not concussion. Maybe he said he'd broken his arm.
It wouldn't make sense with the animation.
Well, he's still or like hurt his ankle or something. Like something that's still serious. It's not as serious as a concussion being out of school for 6 months.
Sorry, breaking his arm isn't as serious as like a concussion doesn't have to be that serious. You can get over those tomorrow if you have the right one.
I don't know. I'm just saying, like this is probably a bad concussion.
It's hard to say.
Oh, so that's
Obviously,
pretty, like,
he
pretty
could he could
extreme.
talk to Taiki pretty well.
Oh, he just says no, go away. Like that's not.
No one's there looking after him, which is weird because he got hit in a public game, so nobody was hanging
He
out with
probably
him.
didn't want help or ran off or
He
something.
told them to go away.
But the point is, like, while Taiki couldn't have really done much, it's still kind of like you can understand
Wait,
that he has trauma.
double hold on. Okay, so he gets hit in this soccer game. We presume it makes a lot of sense, right? If he got hit so hard they called the ambulance, because somebody had to call it. He didn't.
A teacher would have waited for him. Yeah.
No, he got hit so hard to call the ambulance. He's not playing the rest of that game, right?
The game's continuing.
Yeah, but he had the soccer ball. How did no one notice? There was no ball in the game
It's
anymore.
to show you that it was after the football game. But the point is, like, why isn't there a teacher with him?
Who called the ambulance?
Yeah, you're right. There should be a teacher with him, but you can also say that this is Taiki's flashback, and it's from a long time ago. All that Taiki remembered is that there was a kid there, the kid was seriously sick.
He
and
remembers
he
the
asked for help.
faces of all the people in the crowd.
That's just artistic, I don't know.
But you can't have it both
They all have
ways.
generic anime faces
You
anyway.
can't have it both
At
ways.
least it's not like in Lane, whenever there's a background character, and they're just brown blobs.
No, but that's what it should be in this case. Like in
Yeah.
what's her name's flashback? Jury in her flashback with the hospital.
Yeah.
With all the weird crazy faces,
Oh, that
because
was
that's
terrifying.
actually her
Yeah.
perspective.
But I don't know. The point is, like, it's still trauma.
The English ruins his character.
Yeah, the English ruins it because it's not trauma. The castle's under attack, and a lot of Team Crossheart ate too much, so they just kind of passed out.
How will the fortified castle resist the rain of snowballs?
Well, the point is that it's a distraction.
It is. That's true.
Yeah, so it makes sense that this attack is sort of weak. Kiraha crosses Greymon and male Bergamon to Metal Greymon, which is cool.
It looks really silly because we know what normal Metal Greymon looks like, which obviously is actually from V-Tamer and makes way more sense in that story.
Ooh.
But at the same time, we sort of know what this character's meant to look like, and so when you make it like weird 90s cool jet Greymon,
It's cool. I still
it's
think
not
it's cool.
cool,
I like
man.
it.
It's lame.
You just said it was cool, but I think
No,
it's cool.
but that was like a quote unquote cool because it's the 90s. And everything's cool and extreme.
Dorulumon's commenting that Kiriha's pretty merciless. Taiki wonders where the leader is. And it turns out that Ice Devimon and the Mediamon are going inside to get the code crown.
And you really get the sense with Digimon, this is one of the best examples of it too, that like the difference between evolution levels is so massive.
There's no evolution levels in Cross Wars.
But there is though.
Not really.
No, but like you know that there are. No, not with the kids. Like it's not evolving between the kids, but you know that like Agumon and Greymon are different levels.
You have a vague idea. Like, you know, as I said when we were talking about the episode,
it's just that regular evolution isn't so as much of an issue.
Tactimon is like an ultimate level, and Kiriha probably knew that there was still a bit of a power like jump. There's still like a jump, and characters know about that.
What I mean is that like one Digimon can fight a whole army and it's not even close and the army's gonna lose and you know it. Whereas like you think about real life, right? And any other war story, you can have like the most skilled soldier in the world. If they're going up against like 20 guys, they're probably gonna lose. They might take a lot of the people down with them, but like there's a lot less tension in this show when it's like, well, one guy can take on a literal army.
Yeah. Shoutmon says that it was obvious that this was a trap from the start. Ice Devimon absorbs everyone and becomes enhanced absorbed, and we find out that Blistermon's frozen, so they can't make Cross 2. Valmon says he's going to stab Taiki, which is pretty violent. In the dub, obviously, no mention to stabbing. Taiki makes Dorulu Cannon, I believe it's actually called.
I still think it's weird that he becomes a cannon. And Shoutmon's not crossed.
Yes. It's more like, you know, in Atmon, how they have the app links, which are like...
I love those.
Like, they're just like, oh, it's a roleplaymon.
He gives him a sword and a shield.
So it's more like that rather than... Apgatai from Atmon, which is like, oh yes, you've got Dogachmon.
Yeah, but Dorulumon's spirit should be behind him then.
Yeah, but that's only in Atmon.
Because like, if you let go, can the cannon talk?
No.
Can he let go?
Well, can Bastemon talk or Dorulumon talk when they're in any of the cross evolutions?
That's different. They've become one Digimon.
Yeah, and this one's just like he becomes a tool.
Yes, which is why I mentioned.
Though the red Pikmon always still talks in the evolution. Dig here, woof woof.
That's in the middle of the evolution, not while he's already evolved.
I know. I like to think that the ones that they're crossing don't have any intelligence. Maybe, I don't know.
So does that mean Dorulumon just goes to sleep?
Yeah, or he just has his attacks. I know he's just a weapon at this moment. Nightmon has an attack, and it's with the Pawn Chessmon, which is pretty cool. Kiriha mentions that Taiki has one up him this time, and he'll let him have it because he saw through the trick from the enemy. And then he says that he also can't deal with the princess any longer. Bastemon says that she loves Taiki for thwarting this attack.
Let's talk about that. That was cool. That whole bit with Kiriha was great. When he concedes the code crown because he knows he was outsmarted.
Yeah.
And I think that's great. Like, it shows he's like really honorable as well. And the princess thing is just an excuse. We know that.
And again, this is what I mentioned earlier. It's the whole like Kiriha's not belittling Taiki.
Can I establish if it's an intentional joke where Shoutmon has the cannon and he says lock on, but because it's Japanese he says rock on, and that's kind of his thing with music?
I don't know. I guess because the Japanese love their puns, right? Especially ones that are also English themed as well, and they sort of know that sort of thing. So I want to say yes, but I didn't actually get that reference. So
it might be. Also, Akari's really jealous of Bastemon nuzzling up on Taiki. She gets really mad about it.
Yeah, and this part annoys me because it's always like, oh yes, the girl and the guy. There's always has to be something between them. I don't know. It annoys me.
Well, it's more annoying in the English when even Nightmon's like, ooh, wedding bells.
Yeah, like they force a bit more on the dub, and that's normal for the dub. So Taiki passes out, and it's exactly how it was in the first episode.
Instead of a pillow, she has Shoutmon to throw under his head.
She just throws Shoutmon. It's kind of funny. Monotomon's watching, and then there's a huge Digimon that Lilithmon has that's impending doom. The Digi-Data Lab is Chibi-Kamimon, and in the dub, it said that Chibi-Kamimon's the most adorable member of the Fusion Fighters.
Cutemon is
and
there.
then says, well, Cutemon's pretty adorable too, but
then
still.
Shoutmon gets really offended by that.
Yeah, well, Chibi-Kamimon's cute, but I think Cutemon does win.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, obviously, like it's in the name. What do you think of this episode as someone who's new to Digimon?
This is a lot better. There was obviously a lot more to it. Wait, did they get the code crown?
No.
Did the princess not give it to them?
No, she didn't. She just snuggled him.
She doesn't have it. That would actually make more sense. Because there was actually something going on here. There was like a clever tactical move, and you were like, oh, I can draw the line of why this was interesting. Although, to be fair, the only reason Taiki worked it out is because he couldn't go fight because Shoutmon ate too much. Mm-hmm. So that was silly.
Yeah. And Shoutmon kind of also worked it out, apparently, which is weird. But I like this episode. I feel like I only gave it a 6 for some reason, but I feel like it was definitely better than the last episodes.
I had a moment, though, where it was exactly when Ice Devimon was in the castle and getting attacked by Shoutmon. That was the moment that I saw when I woke up in Sydney, like 3 years ago.
That wasn't Sydney. That was a couple of weeks before, because the one in Sydney had Arnold Schwarzenegger Gargoylemon.
I thought...
No, the one in Sydney had...
Were we there for 2 nights?
Oh, yeah, maybe. But that one is a couple of episodes away again. I think this is like...
Yeah, but they used to tell you things at random. When else would I have seen it?
Well, it was only on weekdays, so I'm not... And we were only there for one weekday, so...
I don't know. Okay, well...
Because, that was... We only watched on the Friday morning, and it was the Gargoylemon episode. This one was...
I'd seen that 10 seconds at some point.
You were staying over at my place, and I quickly woke you up to show you that there was Christopher Walken.
Could be.
And that's why you only remember 10 seconds. No, you saw another episode, which was the Digi Court.
Yeah, with Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, that one's the one in Sydney. But yeah, so what did you rate it?
Like, it's a solid 7, honestly. It's good.
Yeah, I would agree it's a 7. Like, it is better.
Although the English is a 2.
Oh, the English... And I mentioned this before in our Slack, but I feel the most like I'm watching a kid's show when I'm watching the dub.
It's like super painful.
Probably more than any other season of Digimon, but I can imagine if they do an English dub of Atmon, I feel like I might get the same feeling there.
It's the first 5 episodes of Steven Universe all over again.
Like, I just watch it and I'm like, I'm watching a kid's show right now. And when I'm watching the original, it's just sort of like, this is a kid's show, but it's like, it's not like not like little kid's show. But when I'm watching the dub, it's like, I'm watching Play School because I'm homesick. Like, it just feels like I'm watching something that I'm far too old for. I never feel like I feel I'm 20 years older than I should be watching this.
Here's a hint. That's true for all of Digimon.
Yeah, I know, but I never get that feeling like I'm 20 years too old for this. Like, sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, I'm older than the demographic. It's still a kid's show, but like, it's fine. But when I'm watching the dub, it's just like, I'm 20 years older than I should be.
I pretty much feel it 100% with all of Cross Wars. There have been definitely times with like Tamers and stuff where I go, oh, okay.
Yeah.
There's more going on here.
Cross Wars was apparently aimed at a younger demographic.
And you can feel it.
Yes, especially in the tub. What about your predictions in Obnoxious Synopsis?
I'm pretty sure I guessed nothing. They got the leg zone. I don't know. Like, I had nothing for it. And I wouldn't have possibly have been able to predict anything that happened.
What about the major differences in the Japanese and the English version?
You already know. Don't even ask me this question.
Okay, besides the obvious...
No, don't give me that. No, it changes the whole story. It changes the main character from somebody who suffered through trauma and it has shaped him to be the person he is today, or who had a kind of weird experience once and claims it was the basis of his character, but makes no sense whatsoever. Like, nothing is bigger than that.
Yeah.
I'd be shocked if anything this season could be bigger than that.
Yeah. No, that is the biggest change, and it's probably going to be the change that we talk about whenever we talk about any change. It's always going to be, oh, it's a big change, but it's this. Because we've had those big changes before. They're just like, oh, remember that huge change?
Yeah, I mean, the difference between execution and just leaving someone out in a cage forever,
I mean,
that's pretty big.
Yeah.
It's not as big as changing the character entirely.
Yeah, or changing an event that shaped the character.
Yeah.
I guess Laylamon's also a difference.
I mean, it's not a big difference.
It's an
animation. It's a very small difference now.
Yeah, it's an animation difference. Also the prophecy that's mentioned in the dub, and also Angie being mean. Like, I guess this is like an umbrella thing of like, oh, the kids are mean.
No, it's women are mean.
Well, no, in previous seasons, it's been all characters are mean. In this season, just like, Angie's just so mean. And she's like, in the original, like, it's obvious she is protective over Taiki. In the dub, she's possessive over Mikey.
I guess.
And it just comes, it's very different between being protective and being possessive. And it's very obvious through basically the majority of episodes we've watched so far, is that Angie's just like when she was upset that he was abandoning her, but then in the original, she was fine when she realized what he did, because it's kind of just what he does. And it's a nice thing. It's just not going to stop him being a nice person. I don't know. It's a difference. What do you think of Dorulumon's backstory?
I don't think it carries out well. Even in the most ideal circumstance, I don't think the backstory shows you enough to really make you think that Dorulumon has betrayed the commander and has made either he hasn't betrayed him hard enough that Tactimon would feel this way forever, or you haven't seen quite enough of the story to see Dorulumon abandon the war effort forever, and also why it took him presumably years and years to figure it out. It just didn't give you enough, because it's for kids and they don't ask these questions. Like, that's just what it is. But the fact is, it doesn't give you enough.
I like it. I mean, it could have... Yeah, you're right. It could have been better. But I feel like they didn't want to put too much time and effort into the story, which I...
Put time and effort into the story.
Yeah.
You got 3 episodes to tell the story. Maybe take out the second Volkmon fight.
I feel like it's acceptable because it's a kid's show, and I feel like that's all I can say about it. Like,
We've said this for years, is that the quality of kids' show is so high when you're looking at good ones that it's not an excuse anymore to say it's for children, because you can just have higher quality stuff.
Yeah.
The Lorax is a story for children, and that thing's got quality to it.
Also, thoughts on Greymon being blue and
We've
Greymon
seen
being
a blue Greymon before. It was evil virus Greymon.
Metal Greymon. That's Metal Greymon's original design. We've never seen blue Greymon.
Oh, it's the same thing without the metal on it.
Yeah, I like blue Greymon, but
I think it looks crap.
I think I prefer Metal Greymon being blue and regular Greymon being orange because of the whole like theme of he's dead. Like he loaded himself full of so much metal. He basically he killed his skin.
They don't have skin, they have scales, and
Yeah,
the scales
I know,
are
but
coloured independently.
I know, but it killed
This
the
is the
colour.
same thing with Shoutmon turning blue, is the idea that means his skin is translucent.
Yes, and this is blood.
And that begs the question, does that mean that human skin is translucent because you can see our things? Yes.
Yes. So any thoughts about Greymon showing up? I know you said it was anticlimactic.
It was, I do think it was anticlimactic.
But at least we got something about how Greymon is impressive and Tactimon knows of him.
I wish they had just said, like, I'm going to summon Greymon, and then Tactimon's like, no, I'm not dealing with this, and like,
Yeah, but
shunts him out
they
somehow.
don't want to have like...
This is what don't want to make Greymon look too cool.
Yeah, Greymon too strong, like stronger than the big bad.
Well, it's not the big bad, though.
Well, the current big bad. It's like the Devimon big bad.
He's not, though. He's one of the Elite Four. He's one of the Dark Masters.
Well,
He's
we know that
puppet
Lord
mon.
Bagheera is the big bad.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know. I'm a pretty big fan of Greymon. I actually really like Kiriha, which is surprising.
He's not bad.
I also like Taigi. Like, Kiriha's definitely not like rookie levels of me liking, but
I don't like anyone in this show that much.
I think so far, like, I like Kiriha. But I think it's mainly because he's not belittling his rival. And I know I mentioned that a lot. It's a pretty big thing for me. So, Digimon that were introduced, we have Lilithmon/Laylamon.
I mean, I like parts of her.
Oh my god. Icevimon.
Oh, Icedemon's not new.
I know, but like...
He's not new.
We get...
So this whole point's
He's
for.
got weird facial expressions. What about Bastemon/Bastemon?
It doesn't seem like it belongs in this show at all. It's from like a different anime entirely.
I see what you mean. And Greymon. I know we had some thoughts, but any more thoughts about his design?
I don't think it looks very good in blue. And again, I think the jet version looks like crap.
Well, that was my next question.
Oh, he's got goggles on. That'll make him cool.
I will show you Digi-World, which we haven't done for a while.
Wow.
We have a suggestion from Logan to show you this video.
Haven't I seen everything already? Haven't I suffered enough?
This is a fan-created thing. So it's like a fan medley.
Medley?
Oh, mashup. Yeah, Digi-medley.
It's a remix.
Yeah, it's a remix. It said Digi-medley.
Oh. This will play well on the podcast.
Well, sort of. I didn't watch it until now because I wanted to be new to it too, because I haven't actually seen it either. I have heard similar though. I have heard remixes of the original opening.
I was really hoping it would start being like card a slash.
The best song, Card Slash. Well, one of the best.
Very
songs.
good.
It's cool how they've combined the Digimon themes from all of them, like the first 3. You know what I want it to be? I want it to be Digimon, like the Frontier opening.
What?
You know the Frontier? Remember the Frontier English opening?
Was
Digimon, forever united as one.
Digimon.
Oh, yo. Literally, right as you're saying.
Nice.
With no transition, but it's fine.
The digital world.
Probably, I still think this is the best dub song. Sorry, here we go.
In each other and the lessons we've learned.
It was so good they had to put it in the 02 and Tamers movie.
Solution, a spirit evolution.
Like, you can agree this is probably the best thing in Frontier, right?
I am the one. I'm the one. Ever united.
This guy's got a good voice.
Digimon.
Not
I
you,
don't.
this guy. Oh, you beat me to it. I feel like this person could have transitioned them better instead of making them all individual songs.
I'm not sure you could. They're very different songs.
Yeah.
You know what's weird?
What?
I've always listened to this at like double speed, so it feels really slow.
Oh. This one is faster though. Like, this person's remix of the original is faster. So it must be the actual one must be really slow. Oh, it's the current one.
This is garbage. This last one, I mean, Fusion has an awful opening. Are we breaching this guy's intellectual property by doing this?
Well, we're commenting on it.
Are we? I was just singing along with it. That's not Creative Commons use, is it?
Well, I mean, in the actual songs are from Digimon anyway. But I don't know. Like, I feel like Fusion is the worst dub opening.
Easily.
At least they might try to make something that wasn't just like Digimon are the champions.
No, but it was worse.
Yeah, I like the Digi-Rap though. Oh, now they're doing the Japanese ones. So maybe we get cards. Maybe we get the Slash to Life.
I'd be into that. Dun, 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 dun.
Well, this person has Gomon for some reason layered over the top. You can just see Gomon's paw. It's just weird. Like, you can just see on the corners.
Weird.
Yeah, isn't it weird that it's specifically Gomon and Joe reaching out for each other?
Is that what's coming out from the top?
Yeah, Joe's coming out from the top. Isn't that... That's...
He loves them.
He must just love Joe and Gomon, to be fair. What's
Who
not to
doesn't?
love?
Or are they going to start doing other ones too?
No, it's still just Joe. Just really likes Joe.
Wow. Okay.
Still just Joe. Really likes Joe. Okay, Joe's great. 10 out of 10 would climb a mountain. Despite being terrified of the mountain. I like Braveheart. Do you like Braveheart? I like Braveheart. It's still just Joe. Just wanted to point that out to you. Is it just Braveheart after this, or do we get Slash to Life? No, we don't. We don't get Slash to Life. Any thoughts of that?
My thoughts are that guy had a nice voice, and he wasted his time on the Frontier opening.
You mean Fusion?
Yes.
You like the
was
Frontier
a good
opening,
one.
yes.
I forget what they're called, man. There's
So,
a lot. They all suck.
So yeah, thanks for that, Logan. I'd not seen that, or listened to it, I guess, in this case. That guy had an amazing voice.
You know what made it sound really good? Digimon, Digimon.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Fusion, but you have the worst dub opening. It's time to go. For Postmon Pat this week, first up on Reddit we have from Odaiba Memorial. For the record, most of the 7 Demon Lords traits are copied-pasted from the actual 7 Princes of Hell. Leviathan, Lucifer, Belphegor, Satan, and Beelzebub represent the same traits as Leviamon, Lucemon, Belphemon, Demon, and Beelzemon. Envy, Pride, Sloth, Wrath, and Gluttony respective. Okay, that's interesting.
I guess that makes sense.
Like, I didn't actually think about the where they came from.
If only they were designed better.
I like Leviamon.
Beelzebub should have all these flies around him. That would make way more sense.
Oh, yeah.
We got on With the Will from Chuckmon, who says, Adventure is better than Cross Wars, as Adventure spent time developing 8 characters. What they love about Cross Wars, though, is Taiki's amazing personality. His hair is too long in the back, though, in their opinion. But I guess if it wasn't, he'd be completely indistinguishable from any other gogglehead. And they also like my observation that Taiki is basically fan art.
And yeah, he is a little bit.
They like Dondokamon. He gets the beat ready for battle. They think they have the awesome first OP for Cross Wars, which is perfectly placed in each episode to ramp up the energy for the adventure. They're never sick of watching it. The next OP, they're like a lot less. The Battle It Up graphic at the start of each show, among their favorite things about Cross Wars. And they like all the little graphic elements of Cross Wars incorporates into the settings of each zone to make them appear more digital. The digital sky in the water zone, the magma zone with those floating digital triangles, and the red squares that periodically grid across the sky. Sadly, this attention to detail is short-lived. Oh, kills me.
I love the barcodes in the sky.
They'll say they appreciate my perspective on wanting a Shoutmon that was more selfishly motivated to be Digimon King, and having that be a learning story for Shoutmon as he grows with Taiki as his general. But I think Shoutmon has a good heart from the beginning. Impression is that Shoutmon wants to protect his zone and become Digimon King to bring peace to everyone. I think that finding a human, Taiki, got him overly excited, as did anchoring his first Digicross. Don't doubt the shout. I guess I would say, though, that like that means that he's got this huge weakness where, like, if anyone ever attacks Green Zone, like, it's over. And there's not like an army around to defend that. They don't have any ability to know if it's being attacked. Green Zone could have been destroyed yesterday. Bagra has a big organization.
Yeah, it would seem weird that, they would just give up, like, oh, I guess it's captured, like, capture it back.
Yeah. It's weird, though, because, like, all the officers are just hanging out together, not attacking stuff.
Like, I know this all, like, oh, yes, let's split up, but I feel like they could just easily take zones without any resistance if it was just all
They have a
four of
huge
them.
army.
But it was always, like, at least with the Dark Masters, you could also say, oh, yeah, they work differently because each of them is actually in charge of their zone. Each has their own zone.
But also, they don't...
Or realm.
Some of them had, like, independent armies and stuff, but those ones stuck in their areas. That was fine.
Yeah.
If your idea is to conquer places, why are they all hanging out together?
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, the Dark Masters, they made sense because it was actually their realm.
Yeah.
And it was where they had control, but they don't have control over the other places. In this, it doesn't matter what you have control over because you just gain control of it.
Also, the Dark Masters were together for convenience, but primarily they were working independently. Like, they fought the kids individually to prove to each other that they were the best. Whereas... in this case, the officers could be ordered around by Bagramon at any time to actually go and be effective.
Yeah, there's a sort of Reetmon who's actually doing anything. Everyone else is just sort of sitting there waiting for their episode to come up.
The only reason in this show for them not to go and murder the kids immediately right now with everything they've got is because they just underestimate them. But Kiriha doesn't have that advantage. If Tactimon was so good that he can beat Kiriha in a one-on-one fight, how come Kiriha's not dead yet?
That's a good point.
Also, I'm sick of the fact that they have armies, and yet they don't. And yet, like, immediately Tactimon goes, "No, I'll fight him one-on-one." Use your army.
That's a very good point.
Because Digimon fights don't work that way.
I mean, as much as I'm enjoying Cross Wars, there's problems. There are problems.
It's hard to tell a war story when you're trying to focus on, like, one person, and there's no politics whatsoever.
Especially in the dub, how they're trying to make it not a war story.
It also has to do with, like, war stories are interesting when you understand the stakes, and why does Bagra want to rule the digital world? All the cruelty Bagra has committed up to this point has been in order to get the Code Crowns.
Yeah.
Once he gets the Code Crowns, who's to say he wouldn't be the best king the digital world's ever seen? Nobody knows because no one's asked. Alright, everybody, join us for the next episode of Space Battleship Tiramisu. Ice to see you, Angie.
Or Crossheart Burn.
And Treasure Traps in Trouble, oh my.
Or Sand Zone, a great adventure in the ruins.
And Mickey, Warrior of Light.
Or Taiki, Warrior of the Goddess, which honestly sounds a lot like the episode 10 titles. Which was Taiki become a knight? Like, the way it's phrased, I don't know.
It's weird, because he never becomes a knight. He's a general, and he never stops being a general.
But there's a Knightmon, so...
Well, there is a Knightmon. That doesn't make Taiki a knight.
Also, Knightmon calls him a knight, but besides that, yeah. But the titles don't always have entirely all to do with the plot, which is what I'm noticing.
Lies. It was just wrong.
So happy belated birthday to Kyle for the 24th.
Happy bird bath to you.
Hippity bop bop. The link dump's linked in the description, and our Redbubble is also linked in the description, and you can get more than just shirts there too. You can contact us and stay updated. You can email us at LostinTranslationmon@gmail.com, or you can comment on this episode or message us on SoundCloud. You can follow us on @Translationmon on Twitter, and you can find us on Lost in Translationmon on Tumblr, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. We have a discussion thread on With the Will, and a Reddit thread in the Digimon subreddit. And we would appreciate if you would review us on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, and any other podcast listening app that you use, because ratings really help people finding out about the podcast. We also have a website where you can vote in polls, check out our release schedule, and our blog posts.
And you can donate to our Patreon, which is linked in the description, from as
Neither
little
of
as
us can
$1 a
talk.
month, which gets you access to our listener Slack chat group, but there are higher levels with more rewards such as notes, early episodes, and more. And thank you to our Patreon supporters, Sam Krieger, who has Digimon and Pokemon podcast with Stevie called the Moncast, Stevie, who's Stevie Padmon on Tumblr and taking commissions there, Middlemamamon, Joe, Anime Guy, who's Anime Guy Kurosaki and the #1 on YouTube, Chuckmon, Hirolato, who's at Hirolato on Twitter, Jason Morosky, Ryuchu, who's Frostman Radic on Archive Our Own, and Inca.com/Ryden Allen, Stephen Reeves, who's at WildWing64 on Twitter, Kaidawashi, Mac, Noam, Riku, Chisai, who can follow at Chisai236 on Tumblr, Kyle, Delaney Bugman, whose anime blog you can read at baguburagu.wordpress.com, Glitchcoat, Azra McCool, Gene Hackmon, who hosts New World Sonata, which is a sci-fi and fantasy audio drama podcast, Matthew, Anthony, who's at Anto Classic on Twitter, Lismet, who's a Lekmon on Tumblr, Sithobi, Ellivorg, who's Ellivorg on Tumblr, Forky McForkenspoon, who hosts a Digimon podcast called Going Digital, Megan, Kyliak, Neobu, The Time Optimist, Silverhead Freak 25, who's at SHF Tweet 25 tweets on Twitter. It's hard to say every time. Harvey, Nicholas, Anthony, and Harrison.
You can tell how tired we are by how we keep on misspeaking.
Dead.
You can also make a launch donation on our PayPal, which we found in the description. It's paypal.me/Agumon. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast. See you guys next time. Bye!
願い重ねて平和に満ちた明日をつかむ俺たち空を舞うさ輝